Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome. You're now rocking with Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. We up in this thing. Shout out to the Who Dat Nation. Appreciate y'all being in this episode of the Coma, man. This is the schedule. We're going to react to the schedule releasing that's coming up. So shout out to the fam. Appreciate each and every last one of y'all for being in the stream. If you hadn't already, please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We up in this thing. Shout out to the fam representing that Who Dat life, the Who Dat Nation. We up in this thing. Much love to the fam. And they had a couple of leaks for the schedule thus far that's being covered that was shown on YouTube. So there are a few leaks here, and let me just show them to you right now as the show is going on, and they're talking about the Jets right now currently. But this is some of the leaks right here. You see week 1 for the Saints against the Tennessee Titans. Week 2, we at home, of course, against the Titans. Week 2 and 3, we go on the road to take on the Carolina Panthers, Green Bay Packers in week 3, and of course it jumps to 10 going to Minnesota. Week 12 to Atlanta. Week 15 will be home against the Giants. Week 18 against the Atlanta Falcons. So shout out to the fam. We up in this thing, man. Appreciate y'all for stopping by, baby. We're gonna react to it today and tomorrow. Of course, the Jets stuff is they talking Jets right now on the stream. So shout out to the fam, man. We appreciate each and every last one of y'all for being in the stream. Much love to the fam. Much love, everybody. Good to see you, Daniel, JT, Tori. Good to see you, brother. Eric Howard is in this thing. Tragic. Shout out to brother Tragic as well. Princess Lewis. Much love to you. Appreciate you, Kenneth. Much love to you, Yen. Good to see you as well. Dana. Shout out to the Queens. Eugene's in the building. Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate y'all. Gundam. Shout out to you, Jeremy, Tedra. Everybody, man. Much love to y'all. St. Doug. Everyone. Shout out. Mars Vivian, shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you being in this. Brother Marty, Who Dat Daddy, Kathleen, Travis. Who else? I hope I got everything. Brother Wallace, L Dub, BJ9, Kai. Good to see y'all guys up in this thing. Tug Graph, much love, fam. Appreciate you. 985 Live in the building. Shout out to 985 Live as well. So appreciate the fam being in this thing, man. And listen, we know pretty much who we got to face, and this will be the particulars are the guys that we'll have to, pretty much go up against. So hold on here. Yeah, here it is right here. Here it is right here. All right, let me see. We put that up there. All right, let me put the big screen up on it there. You see that, fam? All right, so here it is. A couple of games to be determined, but this is the 2023 schedule right here. Here, let me see if I can get up a little closer for the family members. All right, well, that's the best I can do right there. So anyway, fam, here it is, 2023 schedule for the Saints Sunday. Starting it off to be determined, the Kansas City Chiefs preseason matchup. We have 3 against the Chiefs at home. Then we go on the road against the Chargers in preseason game 2. 3 will be home against the Texans. And this is the rest of the schedule starting the regular season against the Tennessee Titans, September the 10th, noon on CBS against the Titans in the black and gold building. Then, of course, here comes weeks 2 and 3. With Monday, it'll be a Monday matchup at Carolina. It'll be a 6:15 p.m. game on ESPN. Monday night game against Carolina. Wow. A Monday night game against Carolina, for real? Then, of course, September the 24th, Sunday, against going up to Green Bay to take on the Aaron Rodgers-less Packer team. That'll be a noon tip-off or kickoff. Week 4, Sunday, October the 1st, we are home against the Tampa Bay Skunkaneers. Week 5, Sunday, October the 8th, at New England against the Patriots, noon game on CBS. Week 6, Sunday, October the 15th, we're at Houston to take on the Texans, the new look Texans. That's a noon game on Fox. Week 7, Thursday game. We got 2 Thursday games on the schedule, October the 19th. So we'll have a short week as we come home to welcome the Jacksonville Sad Wars. We'll have an opportunity to knock them off. That'll be a 7:15 p.m. Prime Video for Prime Video people, Amazon. Sunday, October the 29th, we go up to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Noontime game, Fox. Week 9, Sunday, November the 5th, we are home against the Chicago Bears. Noon, CBS. Week 10, Sunday, October the 12th, at Minnesota. Noon game on Fox. And then we get our bye week in week 11. That is a good place to have the bye after week 10. That is a good bye. I like that, being right almost in the center of the season there after week 10. Then we come back week 12, going to Atlanta. That's November the 26th. We go up to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, And then, of course, we come back weeks 13, 14, and 15. The Saints have 3 home games. October the 3rd, Detroit Lions come in. That's a noon game on Fox. December the 10th, Carolina come on in here. Noon game on Fox. Week 15, which is December the 17th, the Giants come on in. That's a noon game on Fox. Then we get the short week again for the Thursday matchup in week 16. December the 21st, a couple of games before or days before Christmas. We go up to the Los Angeles Rams to take them on. It'll be a 7:15 game on Thursday, Prime Video game. And then Sunday, we'll get an extended week of action. We'll come back December the 31st to close out the year at Tampa Bay, noon game on Fox. And then the final game of the regular season will be against the Falcons in the Dome. And that will be to be determined. So as we get closer to that matchup, there you go. So very interesting, man. Yes, Gundam. That's it. It's Prime Video. It's Amazon. So yes, this is going. How y'all feel about this schedule? I mean, you knew who would play, but yeah, it's kind of a weird high. The teams are all right, but what's kind of strange about it is, we get week 1, it's a home game, right? Home game week 1, then it's 2 road games, weeks 2 and 3. 1 game at home in week 4, then 2 on the road, 1 at home, 1 away, 1 at home, 1 away, and then the bye happens. Then it's another away game, and then you get 3 straight home games, and then 2 road games and a home game. It's kind of an unbalanced schedule to me, and they kind of make it worth the while because they clump 3 straight road games together. So the Saints stay at home against Detroit, Carolina, and New York. But it's interesting. But Tennessee, they line up what they're going to do. We have Carolina early. Green Bay is another team. These are teams we're trying to figure it out, trying to put it together. So the schedule is, we think they'll be all right. As long as the Saints have a defense and a running game, I think we'll be fine. So let's see what the fam What y'all think about the schedule so far, fam? Nate says this is the easy schedule. Don't say that. Don't say that. All right, so who that daddy? Shout out to this is a very easy schedule, Q. I see 12 or 13 wins. I hear you, bro. You know, I have to break out that Glenn Jones, man. You know, that just what they're gonna have to not saying I'm not kicking against it, but Tennessee Titans matchup in the Superdome could be a good one. The Saints on their square, they should be able to win that one. Then we always have difficult matchups in Carolina, you know, going up to Carolina, but you have a young Carolina team trying to figure it out. You got a Green Bay team with a young quarterback trying to figure it out. You got a Tampa Bay team that's going to be dead last in the NFC South. You got a Patriots, and really, Bill Belichick's always dangerous, but that New England team doesn't scare anybody. You got a young Texan club with a lot of talent, but they still got to put it together. And then you get to like the Jaguars, which were a team that made the playoffs last year. Then you got the Colts on there with a rookie quarterback. They trying to figure it out. You got the Chicago Bears coming down here with Justin Fields. They trying to get it together. And of course, the Vikings are there. So you kind of get a little tougher as you get toward the middle of the season, getting closer to the bye. Then you come out of that against Atlanta. And both games was interesting. The Atlanta matchups, they say both of those games for after the bye week. You know, after the bye week, you get Atlanta twice. You know, for the rest of that, they kind of work that schedule in there to kind of add that in there. So we don't see Lowe's Falcons until very much later. So shout out to the fam, man. Yeah. Well, listen, it does, man, based on what we know about these people's schedule. I'm not gonna tell you no different, fam. It don't look like it's difficult, but once again, we have to figure it out, man. We've got to figure it out. We can't get in our own way here. Yeah, I know Indianapolis has a rookie quarterback. Carolina, they got a young. Yes, it does look very positive for the Saints, but we'll see, fam. Gundam says Pete Carmichael decision making process better be tight. We talked about this last night about Carmichael. Carmichael's character won't change. He knows the offense, but the thing is, as long as you have a quarterback that's outspoken and kind of the opposite emotional spectrum as Carr, I think you can get some success there because Carr's not a reserved guy when he's playing. You know, he plays with intensity and he has a very exciting brand of football as a quarterback. So, you know, I like that. I'm going to be honest with you. All right. So, anyway, Quavadia, shout out to you, bro, says DA can't win with this schedule. And if this talent, he don't need to see Black Monday fire him in the locker room. They won't do that, bro. Not right now, anyway. So, yeah, it is shaping up to be a very interesting schedule, to be honest with you. But man, this is yeah, I'm looking at these teams. I'm like, man, rookie quarterback here, new quarterback here for the first time. You know, Buccaneers in that thing. So yeah, you know, it's shaping up. You say, man, the Saints should be able to get at least about 10, 11 wins out of the schedule, right? Two prime time, well, prime video games too, but you know, they got a couple of games. How many prime time matchups they got here? The Monday night matchup on ESPN with Carolina. They have the prime video game against Jacksonville in October the 19th. That's two. And then the Thursday night game against the Rams in week 16. So you're looking at what? About three primetime games. And the Falcon game more than likely going to be a primetime game too. That's why they kind of holding that back. They're anticipating that to be a very good game at the end of the season. So going to be interesting. So this is the Saints 2023 schedule. Let's get some reaction from the family members. Yen says 12-5. There is no excuses for DA Tuckgraph is calling them out. It's on the Saints. The Saints, man, they added it. Let me see if I can put my schedule up here. I mean, my depth chart up here too for the Saints. This is, hold on here. Let me get my little unofficial depth chart up here next to it right here, as you can see. All right, hold on. All right. Yep. Here it is. Okay, so here's the depth chart. So when you got this going on, and then you add the what the Saints are working with in terms of the adding of the talent here, it's just a matter of getting everybody on the field at the same time to make it all work. That's what it comes down to in my book. Just getting it all together, putting it on the same line, making it work. They are going to be exciting. And then of course, after the schedule release, you're looking at this weekend, you got the rookie mini camp. We'll get a good look at a lot of really stellar rookies and undrafted guys that are really interesting. Shaq Davis is a guy that's very interesting. A lot of people like Shaq Davis. I watched the tape on Shaq Davis. I love how he plays the game. He's 6'4", 6'5", big guy with speed, catches the ball really well. The one thing you can say, and I agree with Brother Rashad when he said that the route running was an issue. Yeah, his routes aren't crisp, but you just put the ball around him. His catch radius is utterly ridiculous. His catch radius, you could put the ball around where he is. His catch radius is off the chain. So looking forward to seeing guys like Shaq Davis and Malik Flowers, Kendre Miller, to see what these guys, you get your first look at them, man. So A.T. Perry, Isaiah Foskey, so the rookie class and undrafted guys are very, very solid. So, man, listen, I love it. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to keep the schedule right there. But it's interesting, man, to see a lot of people saying, Q, that's 10, 11, 12 wins. Uncle Who That says, Q, I see 13 and 4 better. I mean, you're right, bro. You look at this schedule, man, and it's reason for people to look at it and say, man, hey, the teams that the Saints are facing, there's a lot of issues with some of these teams here. You got Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill. And listen, Tennessee's not going to be a pushover. That's not going to be an easy game. That game has a degree of difficulty to it. But they're having some issues. We know Tannehill, they're looking beyond him. And, they drafted Levis to be the future. So we know Tannehill's going to operate the quarterback position. Unless injury, you got Derrick Henry there. And he's always a problem. The defense is not all that bad. So they'll be in the dome, and it would be a very good way to start the 2023 campaign by beating Tennessee. By stopping, because you stopped them from running the ball, you put the pressure on Ryan Tannehill, then put Tannehill on the ground as often as possible. So, yeah, outside of that, it looks good, right? And then you go into 2 road games against 2 teams that have new quarterbacks at the helm. Now, perhaps we hear that Andy Dalton will be taking the quarterback starting position at first, and then Bryce Young will kind of just move into the role. Could we see Andy Dalton in week 2? I think more than likely you probably will see Andy Dalton in week 2. But outside of that, that's a winnable game against Carolina with Dalton at the helm, right? Even if you put Bryce Young there, it's still a rookie quarterback, and that's a lot of pressure on them. The Saints could do some stuff there. So you expected to win that game, right? The Green Bay matchup, Aaron Rodgers is not there anymore. It's Jordan Love. So Jordan Love doesn't have the same amount of weapons that Aaron Rodgers has. It's a different offense. And we should be able to have success in that game as well. As long as our defense is solid, we're not turning the ball over, we're doing what we're supposed to do, this could be 3 wins. Here, the Tennessee Titan game has a level of difficulty. I can't overlook the Titans like I can look at a Green Bay and say, yeah, I can see what's going on there. Then week 4, you got Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming in that thing. You don't want to discount an NFC South foe because they do bring it. But really, if the Saints bring it, the first month of football should be in the Saints' grip. They could possibly be 4-0 or 3-1. That's what, if it's 2-2, then, here we go again. But realistically speaking, that first 4 weeks, and I'm not down putting anybody's clubs, but the Saints should be 4-0 at the least 3-1 in the first 4 games of the season. Talking about Tennessee, Carolina, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, you got the Patriots with Belichick. You got the young Texans club. Then you get a playoff team in Jacksonville with Dougie P over there. So that's going to be a degree of difficulty as well. But before you hit the bye, you have the Colts in Chicago, both with young quarterbacks. Indy has a rookie quarterback that'll more than likely be there. He's still very dangerous. And remember, we still have to see if we solved the problem of handling these scrambling athletic quarterback types, because Richardson is definitely going to be a guy that tests the hell out of that. So we'll see, man. But yes, this schedule does look quite appealing, man. It really does. Pelican Nola says, Big Q, we have to blow Tennessee out week number 1, and then the Carolina Kitty Cats in week 2. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the first week is always a good way to set the tone. And if we can, and listen, the key to it is the competing, like the Saints offense. Like we talked about this in the previous stream. The Saints defense, in my estimation, and I could be wrong, but my logic is you have $150 million quarterback, right? $150 million quarterback. You bring $150 million quarterback onto the team. The team, I can't realistically or logically then say that the team is still a defensive first team. I can't say that. It doesn't make any sense, right? Grace Saint Think Tank. Because if the quarterback, you giving 150 million shimoles to Derek Carr to be your quarterback, the offense better be leading the charge. It better be. He's your most expensive player. So I'm looking at the Saints offense and I'm saying, hey, I hear what people saying about Carr from his Raider days. But anytime you take a quarterback like Carr and put him in the Saints system with a wide open attack where he has weapons everywhere, and the Saints have done a phenomenal and excellent, beautiful job in surrounding this man, not only with talent, but they've given him people that he's familiar with. Foster Moreau, giving them. You still have Alvin Kamara after he come through all of his stuff. Kendre Miller's the power back, along with Jamal Williams, which is, to me, once the season is over with, they'll be saying the best thing the Saints ever did for this entire season was signing Jamal Williams onto the team. I keep saying, I was like, I can't believe, because there's so much going on. You kind of look at everything. But if I have to pick one player and say, man, the Saints knocked it out of the ballpark, it's Jamal Williams. We don't understand to the great lengths and the depth that what Jamal Williams will bring to the Saints offense. We really, truly don't realize it. You go back and watch the Detroit Lion film and see what he does and see what he is capable of and what he was doing to get those 17 touchdowns. He was phenomenal. And this guy's coming in as a compliment. Well, I don't say a compliment, because I think the Saints will combo Kamara and Jamal Williams. They'll form a tandem, and then Kendre Miller would be a guy that brings up the rear, But Jamal Williams is huge for the Saints. I mean, that is so big, and people not really talking about it. I know we looking at Carr, but when you give Derek Carr, Jamal Williams, Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller, you still got Taysom, the utility knife, working about around there. He's going to be involved. Big Foster comes into play. He knows Carr. He could be a security blanket. Jawan Johnson's still there. And it's just phenomenal every way you can twist and turn this thing. I mean, I've absolutely loved what they're doing on paper. Now, of course, like I've said, and I'll continue to say, it's up to the coaching staff to take everything that's been placed, because the Saints had a solid free agency period and a decent draft last year. We've got to get these guys successfully on the field and successfully integrated into the play scheme where we have success, an extended period of success game after game. It'll be games where we do well and games where we don't do well. And anyway, back to my original point, the offense will lead this team because the defense has a lot of change happening. You got 3 new starters on the defensive line. They got to figure it out. We got a new interior defensive line mix. They got to figure it out. We got a new defensive line coach, a new defensive coordinator, new special teams. All of this is new. So the defense has more turnover than you could say about the offense. So the great thing about it was the Saints were astute enough to recognize that, hey, listen, we got a lot going on with our defensive line, a lot of turnover. 3 of our 4 starters are gone on the defense. Let's keep our offense together. So they did a wonderful job of keeping Andrus Peat there with the rework deal, and then fortified the offensive line by just keeping the Saints starters there. So to have at least one unit with the same staff or similar staff from the previous year to help out Carr. So when he gets behind center, things could line up for him. They have more chemistry there, more harmony, more synergy. But that was a really smart move by the Saints, and then the addition of all these weapons. And then one of the biggest things I noticed is the Saints did a phenomenal job of getting big wide receivers. And we already know Carr can throw the deep ball, but you get big wide receivers that have excellent catch radiuses, that can get up and get around where the ball is. Shaq Davis, 6'5", with 6'4", 6'5", huge. A.T. Perry, Brian Edwards to a degree does it too. He gets out there. You don't do it as phenomenal as the younger guys I've seen out of college, but he still has the ability. But you got 3 big wide receivers coming onto the team that have a degree of speed and huge catch radiuses. They're really good blockers. Just phenomenal, man. Saints getting big at the wide receiver position. That was something Coach Payton wanted to do. Coach Payton wanted to be the guy that get the big wide receivers with the speed, and look like they're doing that. So, man, this is a hell of a thing right here. But anyway, once again, for the family members who just tuning in, this is the Saints schedule, regular season schedule, as you see before you. And it's interesting, man. A lot of people see Q. Listen, this is going to be awesome. Richard says, I love the roster moves this offseason. My concern is coaching decisions that lead to everyone wanting DA gone. They better use players correctly and create a slid identity on offense. Thank you, Richard. And that basically, what you're saying, Richard, is it parallels, or it kind of speaks to everything that the great Saint think tank was saying. Now, once again, a lot of people are excited about the additions of the players that we bring in here. The draft, we knew the draft was solid. The undrafted was another solid period. And we've seen a migration of defensive talent leave the team, right? So Dennis Allen went and got his own guys. So people were saying, Q, they can no longer say that, well, the problem was, because I heard this too, the problem was with DA last year was he was trying to win with Peyton's guys, and that was an issue. He wasn't reaching them. I heard that. So that is not an excuse this year, because Ryan Nielsen and the rest of most of the defensive personnel, they're gone. Dennis Allen has his own, his hand-picked defensive coordinator, his hand-picked special team coaches, his hand-picked defensive line coach. So indeed, it really is in their hands. And this is probably the most complete team that I've seen. And they had a good team last year. But when you put Carr on top of it, the pressure falls on the offense now to carry the day with $150 million quarterback. But the Saints didn't shy away from it. They gave him every possible advantage. So as some of these guys stay healthy, we should have a lot of success. Finis says, run defense is key. Indeed, bro. Indeed. Shout out to you, bro. Indeed. I agree wholeheartedly with you. Remember, that was one of the worst parts of the Saints defense last year, was the inability to stop the run. It hurt us bad. And then, of course, you could throw the offense in there. Their inability to consistently put points on the board really hurt us too. So I don't anticipate seeing that. Just looking at the tendencies, because it's more than enough tape on Carr to look at to see. He got some bad, but I can't say he got more good points than bad. As you study the tape, a lot of what he's going to bring to the Saints offense, like I've said it before, I'm going to keep saying it. What we were missing on offense last year was explosive plays. The plays that break open the game, that just rattle the hell out of your opposition. Then you go up quick, 21 points to 3, really quick, and then just frazzle the hell out of them. That's the type of stuff, the explosive plays that scare defenses. We lacked that. We weren't scaring anybody last year. Let's get that straight. They were getting up to the line of scrimmage and saying, if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to run. And the Saints simply couldn't do it. We couldn't muster up enough offense to get it going. That won't be the case this year. If one thing I can promise you, that the Saints will get the ball down the field. I promise you that. They will get the ball down the field this year. They will get it. It's track stars all over the place. Guys with speed, Rashid Shaheed, and all this kind of stuff. And then, of course, Mike Thomas. All right, Travis says 5-1 with Kamara returns. They are phenomenal. And like I said, it kind of made me laugh a little bit because I was hearing what some of the people were saying. And I think Lowe was trolling me a little bit. He said when he talked about Bijan Robinson being the best running back in the NFC South. I said, no, that's not. That's the top 2 running backs in the NFC South are Alvin Kamara. Come on. Alvin Kamara, man. At one time, you would say AK-41 and Christian McCaffrey. But Kamara's the best running back here, and the second best running back is Jamal Williams. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got both of them. Yeah. Welcome to the NFC South. We got both of them here. We're going to battle ram the hell out these people this year. All right, so shout out to the fam. Good to see y'all. What's up, Scout Without Clout? Shout out to you, bro. Always great commentary from you. Says Foster was a good pickup at tight end. I'm glad we addressed that need because he's solid. Our main needs left seem like linebacker 3, yep, currently occupied by Zach Bowen, maybe a free safety 2, left tackle 2, or a DN 2. We're getting close, though. Roster coming along. Yeah, you should see, like, coming up real soon. Got the rookie mini camp coming up. You start already hearing that teams across the NFL are signing their draft picks. Expect the Saints to get that done. And you could probably see a clump job happening with the Saints because, when they'll sign like picks 4 through 7 all around the same time. And then you get pick 3, then pick 2, then pick 1. Everybody gets signed, So that's the next shoe to drop. And the Saints sitting up here with some good paper. They're sitting up here with some good paper. Let me see if I can pull up over the cap for the family members so I can get that for you guys so I can show you a little bit of that good money. All right. Yeah. Yep. Well, they're still showing 16.5 right now. Let me see what Spotrack's saying. I know it's estimated between, shout out to Nick Underhill. I know he tweeted something. They basically still showing 16 million right now. I think Nick said that it's between 11 and 12. So shout out to him on that. I think that's more accurate than what they're saying. They haven't updated anything yet. All right. Shout out to the fam, man. Let me see if I can see. I got a super chat up there. Let me see if I can get that. For whatever reason, I don't see it. It's not popping up on my thing now. So shout out to the family member. For whatever reason, the system not letting me see your super chat. Oh, there we go. I see it. Thank you, Mark. Mark 504 says that Falcon game after the bye week looks good. I know, huh? Says might have to attend the Captain Charles pregame party. Cap Charles, yes. Keep doing your thing, big bro. Thank you, bro. Shout out to you, my man. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you, sir, for that. Much love. Yeah, I know. Now they just excited, man. You're like, man, we got a team now. Oh, wow, we got a team now. We can talk something right now. They're just so excited. You know what? The Who Dat Nation and the Great Saint Think Tank, that we so great. We so great. We let them have it. We don't say, hold on for a second. We let them talk their stuff. It's like, go ahead. And, we don't want to crush you. We'll just go ahead on and build yourself up. We'll take care of you when the season starts, though. But the schedule makers in this thing did a very great job, in my opinion. They held both Falcon games after the bye week. So coming out of the bye week, we got two teams that we really don't like. Going into the bye, we go to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. And then after the bye, we get a break, come out of that thing, travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. So that is going to be two very interesting games, to be honest with you, between the two of those teams. Because we really despise the Vikings and we don't like the Falcons. So that's going to be interesting right there to see how the Saints, from an emotional standpoint, deal with going up to Minnesota to get the victory and then coming out of the bye to go to Atlanta to knock them off. Indeed. All right. Shout out, fam. All right. Japanese Hercules says, I'm liking the first 3 games. QB in Tennessee. Carolina and Green Bay are questionable at the moment. Well, Tannehill, yeah, he's not. You look, unless something happens where he demands a trade or something, which I don't see that happen. I think he's in the final year of his deal. But you got Will Levis there as the future of the team, which lets them know, hey, we're not going to read you up. So this is probably Tannehill's. I think this is his last year there. So he's on the way out of there. You know what I'm saying? So there, I can't just look at Tennessee. Matter of fact, let me do this, fam. I'm going to do this. Let me do this. Let's do this. Let's go game by game, and I'm gonna show you the current roster on it. That sounds a lot better, right, fam? Let's go at it like that, right? Let's go at it like that. Now this could change, obviously, but let's take the Tennessee matchup first, right? Okay. Now look, this is the schedule for the Tennessee Titans, right? They go Tannehill there. They added Levis in the draft this year. We know he's the future of the team, but this is pretty much the team you're going to face right here. Tannehill, Derrick Henry. You got Tyjae Spears. Remember Tyjae Spears, that they're going to activate and have him as a combo guy to Derrick Henry. So that'll be fun watching Mr. Spears in a Titan uniform. You got Treylon Burks. Remember him, wide receiver. And they don't have much of Treylon. They need some help at the wide receiver position. But Treylon Burks is not a bad pickup for him. And you look at the rest of them, the offensive line is all right. They added Peter Skoronski to kind of add to it, but really Tannehill is on his way out. And you can see the defense right there. Harold Landry, Jeff Simmons is another one. And they got a few other guys, Kevin Bayard in the defense. So they're not a team that scares you, but you still got to respect them to a degree because they got Tannehill, and he does a decent job at the quarterback position. I can't poo-poo Tannehill. Look at his numbers from last year. Well, maybe I should poo-poo him. 26, 13-6-4. Oh, yeah, you in trouble. I thought his numbers was better than that, man. Tannehill in trouble, man. I thought he had better numbers than that. All right, so anyway, this is Derrick Henry's numbers here. So, 15, just over 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4.5 on the carry. But he's been banged up a lot, but he appears to be healthy. So, when you got a team that has Derrick Henry on it, the Saints, we got to watch that. Their defense is decent. It ain't all that. But when you look at some of these teams, man, moving forward, the Saints should be able to beat a Tennessee Titan team. I think they're a little bit better than, say, a Green Bay Packer team that's coming out the woodwork with a total new setup. Let's move to the Carolina Panthers. That's the next move, right? This is their depth chart. They're in week number 2 going to Carolina, 6:15 game. That's a Monday night matchup. So the Saints' first game is a noon matchup in the dome. Then we go to next Monday. It's a Monday night matchup, 6:15 p.m. kickoff time on ESPN. So we look at Carolina's depth chart right here, and you can see right here, Bryce Young on top, and they say Andy Dalton will, start off, but Andy Dalton could very well take them into the season. Well, we're not scared of Andy Dalton. Matter of fact, I prefer to see Andy Dalton out there trying to operate the boat. We know Andy's tendencies. We know what we need to do to knock him up out of there. We know he's going to give you the ball. He's going to make a dumb throw or two to kind of help you out. He's going to hold the ball a little longer than what he's supposed to. Andy going to do something, that's going to help out the Saints. It's just in his blood. But they've done a wonderful job of adding talent to all of these places, man. I got to give it to them. Miles Sanders would have with Chuba Hubbard, to do their thing. Adam Thielen with Jonathan Mingo, DJ Chalk, all those guys. That was pretty good moves there. Hayden Hurst, the tight end, to kind of solidify the tight end room with Thomas. And then they did something to try to help out the offensive line. So they had a full situation. You look at the defense, you see Shy Tuttle, they want him as a nose tackle. You better get stronger if you're going to do that, because he didn't look too good for us last year. You better get that strength up. Brian Burns is phenomenal. And they got several other interesting players, but they did a lot of work to their secondary, adding Von Bell there and to help out with J.C. Horn and Dante Jackson. So this is going to be intriguing. This will be an interesting matchup. But whether it's Bryce Young or Andy Dalton running the ship, Saints should be able to beat Carolina. It's not going to be a knockdown drag out game. But Carolina plays difficult up there in Carolina. No matter where, what mode they are, every time we go to Carolina, it's a game that we have to, they don't lay down there. We got to take it from them. But it's damn sure very winnable, man. It is. Going to Green Bay next. The next matchup goes against, we're going up there to the Packer country, which is positive because the reality is we going up there and it ain't cold around that time. So thank you, schedule makers. They say, okay, Saints family, we're going to send you to Green Bay and on September the 24th on. Thank you. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. We'll go up there to Green Bay. Jordan Love, we got to show him no love. He's the quarterback. There is no Aaron Rodgers there anymore. He's gone. But there is an Aaron Jones that handles it, and A.J. Dillon. Those are, I kind of see them trying to run the ball, family, to kind of get that play action going. And Aaron Jones is a really good running back, and A.J. Dillon is one hell of a power runner with them that they have. Christian Watson, big wide receiver there. Romeo Doubs. They got a few guys that they still need some help in the wide receiver room. Over time, they got Luke Musgrave, which was a good pickup for them. And their offensive line is all right. So the defense, a lot of people talking about the defense. They have Preston Smith there, and they added Lucas Van Ness. He's there as well. They got a few other people, Rashawn Gary, the linebacker, Jair Alexander, who they like a lot. So they got some pieces. But still in all, the Green Bay Packers should be a team the Saints should be able to beat. They should be able to beat the Packers. But what we say about woulda, shoulda. But anyway, and then, of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is the next team, and they complete out the first 4 games of 2023. And you see Baker Mayfield, Kyle Trask. A lot of people believe Kyle Trask ultimately will end up down the line when Baker fails, taking the team. 2nd-round draft pick, somebody they want to find out what he can do. But, we don't know who going to do what. The running attack, they got Chase Edmonds there and Rachaad White. They really feeling good about him. The real strength of the team is the wide receiver core with Evans and Goodwin. They added Trey Palmer, which is something to be positive. But the tight end room is interesting. You get Jensen back, his cheating tail, Tristan Wilfs, Luke Gadecki. They added Cody Mock there. So they're trying to get that offensive line together to protect the quarterbacks, and their defense still has some playmakers. Elijah Cansey, Vita Vey. They got a lot. Devin White still there. They ain't won't trade him. Levante Davis, Shaq Barrett, Anton Winfield. Those guys are still talented, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' biggest problem is quarterback play. They are predicted to finish last in NFC South, and that's for a reason. So realistically speaking, even if I have like a degree of doubt, the Saints should come out of the first 4 games of the new 2023 regular season with a 3-1 record, at least, right? If it's 2-2, what we doing, But 4-0 is not out of the realm. But 3-1 is more than capable against Carolina, who got a rookie quarterback. Green Bay, they got a quarterback starting not for the first time, but you don't have Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be something going on. Now we'll see how he look in the 3rd week when we get to him. And then at home against Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield might not even be you might be out the door at that time. I mean, in terms of him sitting down and Kyle Trask moving in there. So things happen fast in the NFL. Then we go to the Patriots game. And I know the family members, y'all give me y'all records, what y'all think about how it looks to you, because we always say we shoulda, and then some kind of way that we goof it up some kind of way. Mac Jones sitting on top of the Patriots game. You see them got a lot of players. They added Juju Smith-Schuster is brung there with Devontae Parker. You got him. They got Hunter Henry as the tight end. He always keeps a strong offensive line. A lot of these guys, we know Trent Brown and a few of these other guys aren't well known, but we know Bill Belichick's teams are going to be an issue. We know that, right? And then on defense, you see a few other guys right there. I see a couple of LSU guys right there. And a few other guys. They got Christian Gonzalez they added to the cornerback room with Jonathan Jones. So you got a few people there. And we know that they always, Keon White's there too. So he's backing them up. But yeah, when you talk about New England Patriots, you think about Bill Belichick. And can Dennis Allen Saints-led Dennis Allen team outcoach a Bill Belichick team. You know, that's something we got. I don't know. But yeah, I know Tedra says 4-0. It should be 4-0, right, fam? You're starting the week off, you're starting the season off, 4 games. I would say 3-1 at the least, but 4-0 is damn sure doable. And I'm not just saying that because we black and gold people in here. I'm realistically, you know, you look at this schedule, it does appear to be I ain't gonna say the S word, you know, I'm not gonna say the word that goes with pillow. You know, this does appear to be that, but I don't want to jinx it because I've seen too much Saints football. When I've seen teams we should beat, for some reason we don't beat them. So I don't know, but at least 3-1 in the first 4. Okay, the Patriots matchup, that's also a very winnable game as well. But it's like Dennis Allen versus Bill Belichick. That's you know, I don't know. But your team's more talented than them. So, you know, we'll see. But I still say like the Saints offense is the key to this, to all of this. We know the defense is going to do just enough to keep them down. But the Saints offense is the key to success this upcoming season in terms of which unit has to be relied upon the most. It's definitely, in my estimation, is the Saints offense. They have to put points on the board. If the Saints can average 28 points a game, that's 4 touchdowns a game. They can give us, I don't want to say 24 points a game. I would rather it be north of that. If we can get 27, 28 points a game, you're looking at a team with 11, 12, 13 wins. For real, 28 points. Now, the defense can't be giving up 27. Offense can't be scoring 27, 28, and the defense giving up 27, 28, you know? One has to be up here and the other one has to be down there. So, but anyway, the Houston Texans is the next team we take a look at after the Patriots matchup. And of course, you take a look at the schedule, you see that both Patriots, another game up in cold climates. And this is the positive I like about the schedule too. This is another thing that happens because the schedule is really nature friendly. When we talk about weather games, because weather plays a part of the Saints. Like you would rather have Green Bay in week number 3 in Green Bay because in late September than late December. So we'll go up there and take them on. It'll be, some good weather. It won't be snow. It won't be cold. And then a couple of weeks later, on October the 8th, we go to New England. Another time where we should be all right, but we should have good weather there too. No snow. So a lot of these teams that we traveling to when we going up north to that are open air facilities, we got them at the right date. And then as you get later on in the season, the only games the Saints do travel to are games in warm climates or where there's not going to be snowing in Los Angeles and on week 16, December the 21st. We should have some pretty good weather out in LA, and that's a dome stadium anyway. And then Tampa Bay is December the 31st, and we should have it won't be no snow out there, I promise you that. So a lot of those games are taken care of early, and I can appreciate that. So that's another bonus to the equation. All right, anyway, going to the Houston schedule, fam. This is what Houston looks like as projected by the depth chart. You see is a young C.J. Stroud on top of the team with Dameon Pierce, who was just phenomenal. They had Singletary, the former Buffalo Bill player right there. And this team could be an interesting. I won't overlook this Houston team. And I know they'll be a scrappy team. And the Saints should beat this team, but they do have a lot of weapons. And you'll be getting them, where? Week 5? Week 5? Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6. Week 6. So they'll have a few games under their hands, and we'll see. But any game you look at with a rookie quarterback, the Saints should be looking their chops and getting victories. But, we have to do something about the athletic quarterback that scrambles around and makes plays on it. That's still a big part of emphasis. Can we do it? But they did a phenomenal job in adding talent to this team last year and accentuated it this year by getting a good quarterback, getting a Singletary to help out with Pierce, bringing in Robert Woods, getting him there. John Mechie III, who's a former wide receiver for the Crimson Tide, was hurt. He'll be healthy, ready to go. They got Xavier Hutchinson. They did add it to the team. They bring in a tight end, Schultz, who's mostly a blocking guy who does catch the ball, no athletic ability whatsoever, but he's solid when you throw to him, like a big Hobie Brenner type. They add Laramie Tunzel. They just signed Shaq Mason, gave him a 3-year deal to play the guard. So they are trying to improve the offensive line because remember all of the sacks that Texan quarterbacks take, and D'Amico Ryans is taking the team over. He's trying to solidify the line. And then, of course, they did a wonderful job going back into the draft and getting Will Anderson, with the next pick to give him the best pass rusher in the draft. They add Sheldon Rankins to the defense to help out. Jerry Hughes is good. Then you got several other really talented players that should help. Derek Stingley Jr., LSU dude, really solid. Jimmy Ward was brought in there. And Nelson, who's a pretty decent cornerback from the Steelers, that comes there. And you got they got some pretty good linebackers and good depth too. So it'll be a little bit before they put it all together, but we'll be getting to them like in week 6, I want to say. But still in all, it should still be a winnable game for the Saints, even though we got to travel to the Texans to take it from them. So it depends on what state of mind the Saints are in, man. But these are most certain. This schedule is setting up with a lot of inexperienced quarterbacks on top of the team and a lot of young teams trying to find out how the win should bode well for the Saints. Next matchup, we got Jacksonville on the way. This is the Jacksonville Jaguars depth chart. Trevor Lawrence, this is a playoff team. They got there last year, first year with Dougie P. He did a phenomenal job getting those guys into the playoffs. And, Lawrence is there. He'll look to improve. You got Travis Etienne Jr. there. They added Tank Bigsby from Auburn to kind of, add a combo deal with him. Christian Kirk, they've spent a lot of money on Christian Kirk. Kelvin Ridley's back. He's there for the wide receiver. And then they got Zay Jones. So they got some pretty talented players there to kind of add to it. So they're going to keep trying to build on what they did from last year. And they feeling pretty good. So I don't expect this to be a pushover game. This should be a pretty fun game to watch in the Dome. This is a Saints game. This is a Thursday night matchup game in the Dome. This should be a fun one to watch Dougie P and the Jags come in here for the Saints to play against the Saints. This will be a fun matchup. So next matchup, we got the Colts. And of course, we know Indianapolis is, what they got, the new quarterback there, Anthony Richardson. Gardner Minshew is on top of the depth chart. That's going to change by the time we see the Colts. Anthony Richardson is a pure athlete, runs all around. We would have to contain him and stop him. Jonathan Taylor is phenomenal. He's coming off an injury. Zach Moss is another capable little running back that can mix in. Michael Pittman had played very well for him last year. They still have a few pieces, and their offensive line is not all that. Their defense still needs some help. But this Indianapolis Colts team is headed in the right direction. They got a youth movement going on. This should be a winnable matchup for the Saints. The only way the Saints lose this is if they let Richardson run all over him, and hopefully we can contain him and force him to be a pocket quarterback. But this should be the Colts matchup going up to Indy. Should be a win for the Saints. Like I said, a lot of these we got teams that are young teams with young quarterbacks or inexperienced quarterbacks on top of the team should bode well for the Saints. Anytime you get inexperienced quarterback, that you should be licking your chops to get after them, showing them different looks, just confusing them, knocking them around. Yeah, like that. All right, then, of course, we have the next matchup. We come home for the Chicago Bears matchup and Justin Fields. A lot of people looking at Justin Fields saying that he's this, that, and the third. We'll see. They got former D'Onta Foreman, who's for the Carolina Panthers. He's there as their running back. They got DJ Moore there. From Carolina. I like Darnell Mooney, the former Tulane wide receiver, had done really good with them. Chase Claypool, big wide receiver. And they got a really interesting 3 wide receiver set. And that's why they really are excited about Justin Fields. They're looking at Justin Fields, say, well, you got the wide receiver weapons. You got Robert Tonyan there and Coleman. We gave you some weapons. Let's see what you can do. But, they're just Chicago. Chicago always seems to screw it up some kind of way. So anyway, Chicago Bears coming down here to the Superdome on November the 5th, Sunday, noon game. It's going to be interesting, but I still say I can see the Saints winning this matchup. It's just, man, it depends. And then, of course, we get personal. In week 10, we travel to Minnesota and take on those Vikings. We hate the Vikings, not as much as the Falcons, but we really starting to really hate the Vikings a lot, man. Really do. Kirk Cousins is the guy up there. Delvin Cook should be ready to go. Alexander Madison's the backup guy. They combo those two. They got Dwayne McBride up there too. Justin Jefferson, phenomenal out of LSU. They added Jordan Addison with him there. That was pretty good. So TJ Hawkinson, another fantastic player, the former Lion they added there. And they're trying to keep the offensive line together. And the defense has one of a former Saints favorite, Marcus Davenport. Daniil Hunter's there. So, Harrison Smith's still there. So they got quite a few people that they bring in on the defense in an attempt to kind of handle some business. So, we despise Minnesota, but you got to respect Minnesota. Anytime they got Delvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, those guys, Justin Jefferson, last time we played him, man, it's just phenomenal, man. One-man wrecking crew, So, I mean, you got to respect the Vikings, even though we don't like them, but we got to respect the Vikings getting ready to head into the bye week. So, y'all, that one right there, that's going to be a fun one, too, going up to Minnesota to take them on. Then we hit the bye at week 11. We come out of the bye against the Atlanta Falcons. And Desmond Ritter, aka the Riddler, he'll be sitting on top of the team. Bijan Robinson mixed with Tyler Algieri, those two guys will be trying to get the play action going for Atlanta. Drake London, Mac Hollins, big wide receivers, and Scotty Miller, the little slot back. I mean, the slot guy they picked up from Tampa. Not a bad group of wide receivers. We just got to make it difficult for Mr. Ritter to get the ball to him. They did improve their offensive line. They did do that. So we got to get Agent 504, Terry Fontenot, some credit because he looked everywhere and gave them resources, especially $100-something million spent on their defense. You recognize a few names on that defense, of course. And they touched every position group, every room on the defense, defensive line, linebacker, and secondary. They did it. And this will be the fun game right here because this is where all the talk happens. In this game, we go to Falcon Land at first. It's a noon game on November the 26th. So it's going to be fun. Of course, we're going to have everybody to come in and kind of, I'm going to have Low on the pre-show. I'm going to have Low to come in on the pre-show, on the preview and let him talk his mess and then have him come back on the recap, eating crow. Let Low eat that crow, man. All right, and then after that, fam, we got 3 straight. That's right, count them. 3 straight road games. I know fam's like, man, Q, we got 1 home game, 2 roads, 1 home, 2 roads, 1 home, 1 road, 1 road, 1 home, 1 road. And then they say that the league say, okay, here's 3 home games: Detroit, Carolina, and the Giants. Get a little get back on the Giants after that last time they got us out of the win. But you got Detroit, and remember, this is going to be interesting because you got Campbell, who's out there operating. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong team. Yeah, Detroit. So you got Campbell out there operating. You got Jared Goff, and he'll be running the team. They picked up Hendon Hooker, man. That was such a great move by them. They got Jeremiah Gibbs there with David Montgomery. They gave up that, but it was dumb giving up Jamal Williams, man. Come on, man. I like the David Montgomery pickup. I like the Gibbs signing, drafting. I like those 2 guys. But, man, Jamal Williams, man, you could have still did that and kept Jamal Williams, man. So Jameson Williams, will he be back? Hopefully he'll be back off suspension for them. At that point, they got Marvin Jones Jr. there. They got quite a few good players on the defensive side. They've done a good job of trying to solidify the offensive line, and the defense, they've done a good job of trying to tool up the defense. They got a really good player in Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive line, and they really need to build around him on that defensive line and keep it going. So this will be another fun game between the Detroit Lions and the Saints. And the family members, y'all tell me how y'all think that plays. This is a home game, December the 3rd. It's going to be a fun matchup to see Campbell in the Saints. It's going to be fun, man, to watch that one. And then after that, we got Carolina on December the 10th, another noon game on Fox. The Panthers come back. Of course, we know at this point in time, Bryce Young is going to be the quarterback leading the team. So if he's not there in week 2, he most certainly will be there in week number, whatever this week is. What is it? week 14. So you'll see Bryce Young there. You'll see all of their weapons and whoever's healthy there. But yeah, you'll see him deep in the season, learning some things. He'll probably about that time you've gotten used to the flow of the game. He'll be a lot more confident moving around in a system after having all that time. So you'll get a good, a good young look at Bryce Young later on in week 14 than we did in week 2. And he'll be really cocky and confident. We gotta handle, get the man and contain him and knock him around, show him some different looks, confuse him, fluster him. And that'll be another interesting game. Let me ask the Great Saint Think Tank this. Any of these teams in NFC South, do you see the Saints sweeping besides the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I know you guys believe that Tampa Bay will be a team that will sweep Tampa Bay. But what do you guys think about the rest of the teams? Do we sweep the Carolina Panthers? They swept us last year. Shouldn't have been the case. We swept Atlanta last year. That should have been the case. It always should be the case. And Tampa Bay, that was something else. But I know we feel like we should be able to sweep Tampa Bay because they're the worst team in the NFC South on paper. How about the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons? Do we sweep them or do we split with them? Or do anybody see any games where we give up 2 losses to any one of these opponents? Do we return to the days when we just, we sweep these young teams out? We sweep Carolina, we sweep Atlanta, we sweep Tampa, we go perfect in the South. Y'all let me know. Put it in the chat. Let me know how y'all feel about that. The next matchup will be December the 17th against the Giants. The Giants, they should have Daniel Jones there. They gave him some money there. You got Saquon Barkley as their running back. Darius Slayton is still there. They still need some help with the wide receivers. But this team won last year, and they have a phenomenal young coach right there. Got them believing. Can he do it again? Can the Giants get up there and do it again? They got some really good talent on the defensive side of the ball. But do they have enough offense to get a win against the Saints in the building? Remember, if we flash back to several years ago, the Giants kind of snuck one from us from D'Arius Toney, what he was doing out there, and they kind of suckered us out of that game. They kind of took it from us. But is this Giant team good enough to win in the building? So that'll be interesting too. We got the Rams following this, a Thursday night matchup, so that'll be a short week for the Saints as they travel to Los Angeles. That'll be a primetime game on Thursday, 7:15, going up against the Rams. So if you look at the Rams schedule, Stafford, you don't never know with Matt Stafford, man, his health. And Cam Akers, Cooper Kupp should be there. Van Jefferson, the speedy wide receiver, Higbee. They got good talent. The offensive line is all right. The defense still has one of the best defensive linemen in the game, and Aaron Donald. He's operating there. There's several other players that don't have names on the defense. So the Rams kind of got to feel like, they stepping back a bit. Like, they did their thing a couple of years ago and got a championship, but this don't feel like the same dominant Ram team, even though we got to go up to Los Angeles to get that dub. This Ram club, even though we know Aaron Donald's dangerous, you got to watch out for him. They don't have the same feel, do they, fam? Not to me. The Rams don't have the same feel. And of course, we finish out. We go back to Tampa Bay for December 31st, and then the final Week 18 matchup against the Atlanta Falcons in the Dome. That's going to be a primetime game. You better believe that. That's going to be for all the smoke. All right. So, all right. Big Sean says, he says, sweep. He says Carolina sweep and Atlanta split because we don't need the second game versus Atlanta. Okay. All right. I see you looking ahead. All right. Claude says, I believe Panthers and Falcons are going to be tough, but I feel that we can handle business. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Young City. Appreciate you. Travis says, late in the season, I feel if they have no shot for the playoffs, they will tank for draft position. This is true. It's true. 985 says we can sleep. We can't sleep on none of these teams. We beat all of these teams in the division. Okay, yeah, I got you, bro. I got you. Scout says, got to beat the Rams, get revenge for no call. They overextended on credit too. So saw the rebuilding. Still got guys, but Don't scare me. Indeed. 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 Yeah, the Rams don't have the same feel. Now, they do have some talent there. You look at guys like Stafford, and still have Cooper Kupp. Cam Akers did a pretty decent job. Aaron Donald's still there. So they got some pieces. They're just not the same. It's not the same effect. Shout out to Pam, and she says, I would love to do a live meet and greet to watch the game together. It's coming, Queen. It's coming. Big Q, Davenport will be hurt. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Davenport gonna be hurt. Yes, yes, yes. All right, Big Smoke says Dennis Allen has no excuse. I'm hearing that, bro. I'm feeling you on that, bro. A lot of the people feel that way. There is absolutely no reason why why the Saints should get at least 11 wins, 12, 13. Man, we got to get it, man. We got to have it, man. We got to have it. All right, so anyway, fam, shout out to the fam chiming in. Do me a service and hit the like button, man. How y'all feeling about the schedule? Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all. Brother Eugene says, man, 20 regular season wins against the Rams. Yeah, you got to beat them in the playoffs where it counts, right? Yeah, Carr has no excuses either, to be honest. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You're right. Absolutely right. The Saints right now, man, they have, like I said, I put the depth chart up there. Man, you want to talk about wide receivers. Like, they have several players that's here that won't be here. Like, expect not to see PJ Williams no more. Okay, remember how we would just have him on speed dial, hit the button. They call PJ Williams, says, you want a job? Expect not to see that this year unless injuries occur. Then they'll hit that speed, they'll hit that button quick. But expect not to see PJ Williams. Expect not to see Traquan Smith. Like, eventually, they have so many talented wide receivers here. Traquan's days are numbered, finally. It's finally, because Traquan Smith has been just a huge disappointment. The former third-round draft pick, he had all the opportunities in the world and just squandered them. And now young players coming on the team can push him up out of here. Is Zach Bowen the man at 3? Saints still have plenty of roster spots, to fill. And my thing is, Quan Alexander could be a guy that be there. What's up, Sky Life? Shout out to you, fam. The Saints done, Foster Moreau, they get him. That helps out the tight end room. Linebacker still an issue. People say, Q, what about we can use another defensive end player? I said we can use another defensive tackle. This stuff is going to happen. The Saints are going to bring some veterans here. Yeah, Nate says PJ, Roby, Traquan, no more. Roby's still there, but they got people pushing on them, pushing these guys to get out of here. Bradley Roby, the Saints gave up draft capital to get Bradley Roby here. And Bradley Roby, the only thing he did was turn into, who does he remind me of? Usama Young? No. It's somebody else that can't cover to save their life. He got the long hair, the braid, the braids. Who had braids hanging out their helmet? I was like, this guy, Patrick Robinson. That's what he reminds. Yeah, Roby reminds me of Patrick Robinson, man. And I don't mean that in a good light. 504 Cole says, Q, we say this every year. Watch PJ and Traquan make. Oh, man. Yes, indeed. All right, so fam, anyway, we reacting to the draft, to the schedule. Y'all put it in the chat. Let me know how y'all feel about the schedule. It's out there. It is a very interesting schedule. A lot of rookie quarterbacks are on this schedule. A lot of teams that's in rebuild mode is on this schedule. You got a few teams on the schedule that you have to kind of get up and look at. Everybody you got to look at, but some of them are with more difficulty than others. But you look at the schedule and you say, man, the Saints should at least get 11 or 12 wins with this type of schedule, with all these teams doing what they do, with all this young teams, young people trying to find themselves. DW Webb. There you go. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, man. Listen, man. No, not Jason David, bro. DW Webb was a good one, though. Yes, yes. No, it was Patrick Robinson. Yes. Man, dude. I thought this dude was better than that, man. Dude, this dude, the only thing he good at is guarding his fourth string wide receivers, man. Damn, all the money we paying you. Yes, indeed. But anyway, let me tune this up for you, fam. I'm gonna play. This is Dennis Allen from the from the Rich Eisen show. Okay. If you missed it, fam, this is what he was saying. He said several really interesting things about the Saints today. And Rich Eisen asked some really good questions, and credit to Dennis Allen for, answering to his best ability. Really kind of, he didn't run from none of the questions. He actually did a really good job of like trying to answer the questions about, what's going on with Mike Thomas and Derek Carr, stuff like that. So if you guys can hear it, put one in the chat as we get going.
Derek Carr that you didn't know already, Dennis. What have you learned about Derek Carr that you didn't know already, Dennis?
Oh, well, I don't know that there's anything that I didn't know already.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I had a pretty good feel for both the person and the player. He's been outstanding in the building. He's been here for the entire offseason program. Actually got in here a little bit early so that he could get settled in. He's been a great addition for us up to this point, and really looking forward to, having him as our quarterback.
Well, I mean, when you have him there, obviously, you would know him from back in the day, but just anything different about him now as a grown man in this league, Dennis?
Well, he's got a lot more kids now than he did back when.
Right.
Back when I drafted him with the Raiders. I just think you see a really mature individual. He's a guy that really has all his ducks in a row, and just to see the way that he's matured, both as a player and really as a family person off the field, is pretty cool to see.
It is pretty cool that you're back together again, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's wild how this works out in this league sometimes.
Yeah,
I didn't
get a chance to work with him for a long time there in Oakland, but was always followed his career, and really he was the guy that when the season was over and we knew that there was going to be some quarterbacks available on the market, he was a guy that we quickly identified as somebody that we thought fit our culture, that we thought fit the things that we want to be able to do schematically from an offensive standpoint. I think his ability from a mental standpoint to control a lot of aspects of the game in terms of getting us in and out of the right plays on the line of scrimmage, in terms of making sure everybody's connected in terms of protection. That's something that we felt like, he could add to our team, and he's been awesome.
Does he have a chip on his shoulder here? What do you got for me? The comment he made at the Pro Bowl at the Skills Challenge, where he was lighting it up, and he's like, well, if I played here, I might still be here. He doesn't seem to, he definitely has an edge to him. We all know that, but it seems like he's got a chip on the way things ended in Vegas with the Raiders. And now he's there with you right now.
I think he's always kind of had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Basically coming out of Fresno State, and then I think he's a quarterback that has top level ability, and yet he hasn't been recognized in that way. And I think he's looking forward to getting the opportunity to come here to New Orleans to play in this offense, an offense that, he's got, I don't ever want to get into comparisons, but there's some similarities between him and Drew, and Drew's had a lot of success in this offense. And so I think he's really excited about getting that opportunity to come here, play in a dome, play in front of this crowd at the Superdome, which is an unbelievable experience. And I think he's looking forward to a clean slate and getting a new start.
Catch the Rich Eisen show.
All right, that was Dennis Allen talking to Rich Eisen, man, dropping some good game about Carr, man, and what he feels like he brings to the team. And listen, to be honest with you, that was good game on Carr. It really was pretty good game on Carr. What's interesting though about the squad moving forward is like he talked about, some of Carr's characteristics, getting them in and out of the huddle. The reality is, like I said, a lot of people consider him like I guess you could say a guy that's like I said, middle of the pack. But the truth is, it's like the dude has like his game is like really explosive plays. I love his explosive plays and what he brings on the ball down the field, doing that type of thing. I think that to me is like the biggest thing for the Saints moving forward. It's like we got to be able to get the damn ball down the field. And not only just dinky donkey do, but like get the ball up the field fast, kind of scare teams a bit, kind of move it like that. That's what I was looking at. That's what I like. That's what I really wanted to see. That's what kind of offense that I think that the guy can have. I think that that's a positive that he brings that'll help us out from an offensive standpoint because we lacked the hell out of that last year. So I think I think that's probably the biggest thing that we can look at when we talk about a guy like Carr and what he can bring. So, that was a good game by Dennis Allen, kind of keeping it real, man. He didn't run away from it. He didn't hide from it or try to run around it. He actually did a good job in answering. We need to get Rich Eisen to talk to him more. He seemed to like to talk to Rich Eisen, man. He kind of runs away from the rest of them. All right, so anyway, let me hear from some of the family members in here as we talk about what's going on with the black and gold, man. The schedule's out. We're going to see. All right, Scout says, let's see, coming from his older brother who was a bust too. I remember the first time I saw Carr, he was a kid. David got drafted first. Lil Derek walked up to the commissioner and said, see you soon. Did he really say that? Did he really say that? That's pretty cool if he said that, man. That's pretty cool if he said that, man. That's actually pretty damn cool. That would be cool if he said that. That's pretty cool, man. It's like self-fulfilling prophecy, huh? See you soon. And he did. And the truth is he's way better. And that kind of tainted it kind of tainted his name because his brother was, had all of the issues that he had. It kind of tainted the thinking of it. But anyway, let me play some more from Rich Eisen, man, from you. What he had to say, what he asked Dennis Allen about Elvin Kamara. Listen to this.
What's the scoop with your top wide receiver can't guard Mike? What can you tell me about right now, Coach?
Yeah, so I would say right now he's still going through some of the rehab process. He had some hardware removed out of that foot that he had surgery on this past season. He's doing really well. He's working extremely hard. Our anticipation is that he'll be limited. He'll be limited throughout this off season, but our anticipation is that when we get to training camp, that he'll be good to go. Now, when we get to training camp, we're going to make sure that we're smart with him in terms of getting him back in and getting him back into football shape. But look, he came off really kind of 2 seasons of not really playing a lot, and really had a really nice start to the season last year. It was unfortunate that he got injured when he did because going back, just the opener against Atlanta and our ability to throw contested ball throws to him in tough situations down there in the red zone, third down, things of that nature. Not having him was a big loss to us last year. And so our expectations is that we're going to have him back, and we're going to have him healthy, and we're looking forward to getting, the Mike Thomas that you saw 3 years ago.
And then, obviously I'm asking you potentially the most uncontrollable issue for you. What is the scoop with Alvin Kamara? What's your expectation level for him at the outset of training camp?
Honestly, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been given any indication from the league of where this might go.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, we've got to prepare for the possibility that we might not have him, but yet, and until that shows itself, look, we're going full speed ahead, and are looking forward to getting him in here and getting going, and then we'll adjust to whatever we have to deal with.
Dennis Allen, answering them straight up, man. This is like listening to Dennis Allen's interviews. This is probably the most honest of the interviews, because these are very good questions that Rich Eisen's hitting Dennis Allen with. He's not running around them. He's going right at him, and he's answering them. He must have had a good cup of coffee and had a good night of sleep, because he answered these questions really straight up with no smoke or no hiding. And to be honest with you, the Michael Thomas, because that was the thing a lot of people was talking about. We see some of the videos of Michael Thomas lifting and him getting this rehabbing and getting himself together. And Dennis Allen spoke about it before, but talked about how they're going to actually handle it. He gave some insight about how the Saints were going to kind of walk him. And we knew, they wasn't just going to clear him and just throw him out there. It's like, okay, yeah, you good now, go handle your business. We know there's a step pyramid of how they're going to handle the stuff with Michael Thomas because of the last several years of him not being there. So ultimately, how would it look getting into the season? And people talked about, are we heavily relying on Michael Thomas like to be a force or a factor on the team? And I'm like, it don't look, you could say yes, and then again, you can see how the Saints are handling it. It's like they're moving forward. The wide receiver room is progressing. They're not just sitting there waiting for Michael Thomas. They believe in Michael Thomas. That's why they restructured him, gave him a 1-year prove-it deal, and got that all out of the way, because the whole thing is, what does Mike Thomas and Chris Olave look like together? That was the whole thing. But out of Mike not being there, we got the curse is him being hurt. The blessing is Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave stepping up and developing. We put a lot on Olave in year one, and it was just excellent. And then we found Rashid Shaheed due to injury to Mike Thomas and Deontay Harty. So the curse of the injuries brought about the blessings, which were the developing maturations of both Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. All beautiful. The Saints even look past and kind of move forward on the Alvin Kamara thing. They don't know, like we don't know what's going on. It looks bad though, because the whole ordeal is pretty much, the whole damn ordeal is on tape. The limo section of it, not only tape, but sound too. The whole thing is on tape. It doesn't look good, but the Saints understand that, and they got Kendre Miller, which he serves as an insurance policy for this year and in a couple of years when you see Alvin get that balloon payment and he get close to that 30-year mark where running backs tend to fall off the cliff. So the Saints bought some insurance for this year and the future with Kendre Miller. And imagine getting Alvin Kamara back and getting him there, because he's still a major factor for the Saints' success, because he represents so much of their attack. He represents a really great percentage of the Saints' offense. So having him there is still, to me, the best player, the best offensive player the Saints have is Alvin Kamara. He's still all of that. People tend to take advantage of Alvin because, but most teams don't have an Alvin Kamara. The Saints didn't take full advantage of him last year. They really didn't. Not enough, not nearly enough. That last year they didn't even decoy him. Like you would have the yesteryear place where you have like a Reggie Bush type Saints, and Sean Payton would decoy the hell out of Reggie Bush. He had put him over here, and people would pay attention to him. He'd do something on the opposite side. We need to get back to that, But yeah, Elvin Kamara is still the best offensive player the Saints have when he's fully healthy. He represents a lot of the Saints offense, So still good game from Dennis Allen. Got to commend him on that. He was talking straight on that one. I know, don't he, Dana? He must have got a really good sleep. He had some great coffee. He was not stumbling and bumbling and I don't know very well. I and running around. He didn't do none of that. He hit the question straight on. He was decisive. He knew what he was talking about. He didn't give you no fluff. He told you the truth. And if we can get this guy during the press conferences, we got to win. That's all we want. We just want, we want you to keep it real. Don't flim-flam us. All right. So anyway, shout out to the fam. Let me see. I had a question up here from someone, and I took it down by mistake here, me talking. Let me see. Where was it? Okay, HB. Shout out to HB, man. What's happening, bro? He said, do you think Dennis Allen is getting more comfortable in this role? It appears by that. That's the best I ever heard Dennis Allen sound. I mean, straight answered the questions, straight on. He wasn't, he sounded pretty confident. He gave you the truth, and he was, if he does more of that, man, I love that. I can deal with that. I just can't deal with all of the other stuff. Like, we don't see the other stuff. I just, I really don't like that. So yeah, I think, yeah, it appears too. That's so, but time will tell though, hopefully but listen, what changed when we talk about mentality is like, okay, I had Coach Payton's guys last year defensively. Now you still have Coach Payton guys like on the offense, which is cool, right? He tends to give Carmichael that. He trusts Carmichael. He'll take this for me, hold that. He go all of the weapons, do what you do. We're going to need y'all this year, right? I'll step in, if I feel like I need to, but probably he won't, because he's not a micromanager, which is a positive. But he also lacks the ability to go step in when he's supposed to and when he's not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? It's a delicate balance, and he doesn't play that well because he's not a real head coach. He's just a coordinator with a head coach label, just like his defensive coordinator is really not a defensive coordinator. It's really Dennis Allen, who's the head coach, who will be the coordinator. His defensive coordinator is actually his defensive assistant. So, it's a lot of kind of ghost titles sprinkling around the Saints room, but more so on the defense than anything. But the guys on the defense, except for Michael Hodges, the linebacker guy, who, from my understanding, gets along very well with Dennis Allen. He has all his secondary guys. The majority of those guys, he handpicked secondary guys that he has a familiarity with. The defensive line coach, Grantham, is a guy that he's comfortable with. Woods, the defensive coordinator assistant, is the guy that he's very so he has his guys there that listen to him, which could lend itself to why he sounds like this. Okay, I got my guys here. I feel more comfortable because I got the guys that I've given opportunities to they believe in me. That could be a part of this thing too. We can't discount that, because that's a change. He got some of the guys that were Payton guys are gone, and he brought his guys in, which kind of gets you to see, yeah, he's comfortable. You can hear that comfortability. So I like to hear that. I just, let's just make it work. Let's see. Let's make it work. All right, 11-6. I'll call it. Okay, all right. Yeah, 11. That sound good. At least 11 wins. I mean, what the Saints are making, man, I really think we should be. The offense should be it's going to be a top 10 unit. With the weapons we have, Carr just strong. I know we still on paper, but if you look at the tape, which is not paper, he's not going to change, drastically what he does. And what he does well is get the ball up the field and explosive plays. That's what Derek Carr does. So we just simply didn't have that last year. And with him having the type of weapons that the Saints have that he's going to throw to, man, you got to put that average up there. What y'all think the average would be point wise for the Saints? Do you think you feel like I do that he averaged 23 for man? Maybe 4 touchdowns is a bit much. Maybe 27 points a game, somewhere up there. It got to be somewhere up there, man. 20, I would say 27 points a game, something like that. What do y'all guys think? Y'all tell me for real. Tell me what y'all really feel. Y'all agree with me or not? 504 Coast says, Q, what 6 wide receivers make the 53? Well, we covered it yesterday on the depth chart projection show. And of course, the top 3, obviously, barring injury, would be Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed. That's your top 3. And then the other 3, that would be the ones that you kind of look at. So one of the 3, well, let me just give it in order. I think you can hold on. Let me see my other 3. What's my other 3? Hold on. Let me pull it up, fam. Let me go ahead on and pull it on up here. I don't forgot my other 3. Let me see if I can go, because we did the article on it yesterday. Hold on. It's on whothatdaily.com. So you slide that on in there. Here it is right here from the whothatdaily.com. Please lock that in your phones. That's our headquartered website. And of course, let me see. I'm going to get to the wide receiver position. Here it is right here. And it's 6 of them: Chris Olave, Mike Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, Brian Edwards. Now I put Brian Edwards in there because, he's a veteran wide receiver. He's 6'3", 200 plus, like 215, 220, somewhere along up in there for Brian Edwards. And remember him and Derek Carr played together in with the Raiders. Let's say Los Angeles, Las Vegas, whatever, Oakland. But they were teammates with the Raiders, and he was the guy that, the first familiar offensive player that they signed to help out. And the Saints signed him because they understood that they wanted to get bigger in physical wide receiver play. And Brian Edwards was the guy that's familiar with Carr. So it made sense to them. Plus, it ain't cost them a lot of money to do that. I actually thought it was a good move. But as you get into it, you want to have a veteran wide receiver, behind, Chris Olave, Mike Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, Brian Edwards, his familiarity to know what Carr happens. And then it was a kind of a given between Shaq Davis and Brian Edwards. And Brian Edwards won out in my mind because he's a veteran guy. You have a lot of young people, and you want to have at least a veteran in the mix with your young guys. And that's what Brian Edwards represent. Big physical wide receiver, can catch the ball across the middle, block, do stuff for you. And that's why I put him there. Now, Shaq Davis, 6'5", 2, what is it? I forgot how much he weighs. 200, I thought 210 pounds, something like that for Shaq. Phenomenal young wide receiver. I put A.T. Perry up there because I think A.T. Perry is going to have a good camp for him to earn his job. But Shaq Davis is a guy that I kind of put slash with Brian Edwards. So I was like, man, I love Shaq Davis, man. 6'5", big wide receiver, huge catch radius, does a lot of positive things for you, has good speed. I'm like, damn, I'm liking Shaq Davis, but I just went with my veteran mind and was like, you know what, we need a veteran there. But you can easily do like a Brian Edwards / Shaq Davis thing. I just wanted a veteran behind. I wanted a guy with some experience and familiarity with Carr on the wide receiver, in the depth chart in the room. Then you got A.T. Perry, who's another big wide receiver with some speed, 6th-round draft pick for the Saints. And then Malik Flowers. Like, why is Flowers there? Because Flowers is the return man. He's the guy that tied Rashid Shaheed's return numbers. He's phenomenal. The Saints done it again. Deontay Harris-Harty, Rashid Shaheed, and Malik Flowers. Now, we're going to get a good look at him when we get going in the mini camps and all this kind of stuff down on the line. But listen, Malik Flowers, man, if you watch the film footage on him, if he turns out even close to what these other guys are, the Saints done did it again. They went and found another key return man, this time out of Montana. The Saints just do their homework, man. They do their homework. So this is the 6 guys that I picked to be the wide receiver room. Of course, you guys probably feel a little different. If you do, just put it in the chat what you think. All right, so anyway, let's keep going, man. Shout out to the fam, man. All right, Deputy Mario, how you doing, sir? Shout out to you. Says Big Q, what's up, man? Guess what? Good for you, brother. You deserve it. Shout out, man. Shout out. All right, Deputy Mario. All right, Kim, what's up, baby? She says Elvin lacked because of that's right, QB play. Let's be honest. Indeed. Yeah. And let me add on to your point, Kim. Also play calling. QB play and play calling. Oh yes. Oh yes. No doubt about it. You are 1,000% right. You right on the money. All right, Brandon, what's up, bro? He says them going anything less than 4-2 through the first 2 weeks of the season because Jacksonville game will be a major disappointment. Isn't intriguing, bro? First 6 games of the season: Tennessee, Carolina, Green Bay, Tampa, Patriots, and then Houston. 4-2 is not bad. That's really good call right there because Carolina, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, that should be three wins in a row. The Tennessee Titan game, I'm kind of, looking at that, but you got a battering ram like that. And listen, to be honest with you, fam, if you think about it, that game, that Carolina game, that Tennessee game that started the year off, that'll be a major test of the Saints' run defense. That's a major test for the Saints' run defense. You got Derrick Henry, who should be ready to go in that game. They're going to be running him at the Saints' newly built interior defensive line. Big test, major test. Don't you think that's going to be a big test, man? So we're going to see right off the bat whether or not the Saints got it. Like in terms of the defense, that's a big test to start off the year, man. Big test. Dre says, what up, Q? Shout out to the fam. How y'all doing? Feeling on this Thursday night tonight. Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you being here, sir. Thank you for the salutations. Scout says last year wasn't the best stats, but that's more to do with coaching. McDaniels was a bad fit for him. Better look at his numbers under Gruden because that's closer to our offense. Indeed. And I said that before, bro, and you right on point as usual. We talked about offensive scheme and using our imagination. And people say 63-79, which is his win-loss total during a period of time. And you have what system is he operating in? That's the big point. And how could he change or how could he improve in a Saints system? Well, it's a Sean Payton system. And most of the time they're QB friendly. And if you give him the weapons to stretch the field, which is and that's the thing. I keep saying it and we won't see it until it hits, but the explosive plays that get you up the field, 30, 40 yard plus plays that get you up the field in 2 or 3 plays, the stuff that get the family members rocking, and yelling and screaming, the stuff that demoralizes opponents when the Saints just one thing they hitting you with the run and setting up the pledge. The next thing you get a little sleepy and he goes up top to Rashid Shaheed running down the field, the right side of the field with a deep bind from Derek Carr. Then you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Because it ain't like the Saints don't have the guys to go and get the ball. They finally got a guy that is really good at pushing the ball up the field. Says he's a 4,000-yard pro caliber QB, and that is the thing. And, I got a show I'm going to talk about this, fam. I'm going to show y'all some stuff on Derek Carr that's really going to be like, oh, wow. Sometimes you got to take the numbers and you got to put them and take them in contrast. You look at his numbers, statistically speaking, of what he has. Hold on, let me see if I can pull up his stats right here. And you look at what he did over the last 9 years. Look at this. Look at this. I hope y'all can see this here. I know it's a little smaller. Maybe I can kind of get a little closer on Derek Carr's number. There you go. That's a lot better. All right, so look, this is his numbers right here, right? From 2014 to 2015. And the system, remember the type of system he played when he was with the Raiders. And then just use your imagination to see where he would fit in Sean Payton style offense. Look, the 2014 year, 32-70, right? 21 touchdowns against 12 picks, rookie year, right? Next year, he went from 32 to almost 4,000 with 32 touchdowns, jumped, 1 interception more. 2016, almost 4,000, had a little step back in terms of throwing, but he's still touchdown still up there, 28-6. 2017 took a step back there because, a couple of less games there, but almost 3,500 yards passing. His interceptions jumped up, and his touchdowns went down to almost the lowest of his career since his rookie year. 2018, he went up to 4,000, over 4,000 with 19 touchdowns. And you can look at some of his ratings here. But like I said about Carr, the numbers, his statistics are actually pretty damn good. His passing stats are actually pretty damn good. The kid had, 4 straight years of 4,000. He almost had 5,000 yards a couple of years ago. He almost threw for almost 5,000 yards a couple of years ago in 2021. Was 4 straight years of 4,000 yard, almost a 5,000 yard season. Remember the system. And each in a year, 19, 21, 27 touchdowns versus 9. And then, of course, the almost 5,000 year, 23 against 14, which is the highest interception total that he had besides the 13 to the previous years. And then the year when he was with the Raiders, he had 35, which is the lowest total he had since 2017 when he was at 34, 96, with 24 touchdowns against 14 interceptions. Overall, 217 touchdowns against 99 interceptions. So it's just like you look at what he does and just imagine what that looks like if you put him in a Sean Payton type of offense, man. And a lot of this chunk yardage, these very gaudy numbers, a lot of that comes with him hitting down the field. And if you just go and watch tape on him, and we're gonna do some more tape studying on Patreon. I got to do all my film study on Patreon for the family members that want to support the platform. I'm doing all my film study on Patreon. I'm not doing it on YouTube too much. I'm sick of if I do a film study, I got to chop it up because, they'll take bits and pieces of it and all that. So I said, to hell with it. Every film study or when I'm looking at footage or break down people, that's on Patreon. So if you want to take a look at that, join Patreon or become a YouTube member. Same damn thing. It helps. Well, it's not the same thing. You get more if you're a Patreon, but if a YouTube member, you'll be able to get access to that stuff. I'm not doing it on YouTube no more. I'm tired of having to cut it all up and all this kind of stuff. I don't got no time for all that. Patreon, I don't have none of that, man. I show you what I show you without any of the crap. But yeah, what I'm saying is, and I'm going to be doing a video on Carr to kind of dispel the myth of that he's a middling quarterback. How many middling quarterbacks doing that, man, for real? How many middling quarterbacks a guy threw for 4,000 yards one time or maybe twice. You're like, well, whatever. But the guy threw for 4,000 yards like 4 consecutive years. And then last year, even though he was benched with the Raiders last year, he still made a Pro Bowl. I know a lot of people don't think Pro Bowls are hitting for anything no more, but the numbers are here. You gonna say what I'm gonna do when I do the show. I'm gonna put it in contrast. We gotta stop this middling stuff because the stuff that he does as a quarterback for the Saints in their offense helps the Saints offense because the Saints don't have what he has. Last year, they didn't have what he had, which is the ability to create explosive plays downfield, quick strike plays to light the offense up, to get them going emotionally. The Saints had the dinky donkey do to get the ball up the field, meticulous. They'll do some here and there and setting up screens and all that, but the big passing game, the explosive plays are back, and that will spark a lot of things positive with the Saints. It will help the defense out major ways. So what he brings, his skill set and what he's good at, which is getting the ball up the field, quick strike, accurate deep ball throwing, he has that. This is something that he does really well. We're going to do some film study on Patreon too, fam. We're going to do that. I'm not doing it on YouTube. No, I'm tired of them flagging my stuff. All right, so anyway. All right, so yeah, Carl, we're going to do it, man. We're going to check it out. All right, so anyway, any more? Let's see what they're saying, man. Shout out to the fam here. All right. Yeah, he would. Yes, Dana. Yeah, that Derrick Henry thing is going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome. All right, Scout said, I'm just talking roster construction. People's mentioned 6 wide receivers, so I'm saying that's harder to do when technically 4 deep. Yeah, you got the 3 wide receiver packages the Saints usually use, and sometimes even though you can say that, okay, the Saints might only keep 5, but You got to look at how you have the utility person as Taysom Hill. Where does he play? Well, he's a tight end. He occupies the tight end position, but you can see him. The Saints use him as a wide receiver some days. They might put him back there as a running back. They might have him in the option situation where he pretends to be a quarterback and then take the ball and run with it. So, yeah, you have the propensity to use players in different alignments. Hell, you can take Alvin Kamara and line him up like a wide receiver, you know what I'm saying, and have Jamal Williams out there in the backfield behind the quarterback, you know, to set up a draw or whatever, you know, whatever the case may call for. But yeah, that's the greatness of the Saints offense is the ability, the duality, the versatility that their roster represents, which will make it all the more difficult for teams to game plan against the Saints, especially when they move guys out, you know, out to places where they're not prepared to see them at. So hopefully we can get more of that this upcoming year as well. All right, shout out to Brother James. How you doing, bro? So what's good, Q? I really hope they keep AK around. He's generational talent, and the way he take care of himself, he's going to be durable and healthy more than most running backs. Yeah, indeed, bro. You're right. And they do have a big chunk of money that that he'll be coming up on, but you do know how the Saints know how to make that money disappear, man. It's like fiat currency, zeros in the computer. You know, it disappears. You know, so we'll see, bro. You're right. He is in stellar shape, man. Stellar shape. Alvin Kamara, like I said, a lot of people look at replacing Alvin Kamara, but I keep telling them, listen, you just can't, you know, you got to make sure whoever you bring in there, he's so special and so gifted of what he do. We watch him and he makes it look easy, but a lot of guys are not doing what he's doing. He just works so hard that it done got to a point where it looks like it's just easy. Like he's running and it don't even look like he's running full speed, but he's still running away from cornerbacks. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen that? With him out there running, it look like he's jogging, but he's just that fast, you know. He's just jogging and moving, and and everybody else just doing their best to keep up with him. So I mean, like I said, man, Kamara represents so much of the Saints offense from a numerical standpoint and what he brings, man. To talk to saying getting rid of Kamara or trading Kamara, who do you in turn put there to take, you know, that space and occupy the Saints office like that? Remember, Sean Payton had a lot of success because he was really good at utilizing his wide receivers, his running backs, putting them in position to be successful. That's something Pete Carmichael has to get better at, keeping his gifted offensive players involved in the game plan throughout the game and not just in sections of the game like we seen him do last year when guys will get out there and Pete will forget to put these guys in, and then you got Taysom and Elvin on the sideline, and this guy, what's going on here? Why isn't this guy in there and he's the playmaker on the 3rd and 1? What's going on here, Pete? And then it don't happen. You're like, where was this guy? Why wasn't he or playmakers involved in these really stellar plays with these more important plays when you needed some production? Where was those guys? You know, and that happened. So he will have to improve, man. But like I was saying about Pete Carmichael, another thing I wanted to add, and I keep saying it, is the fact that with Carmichael's calm demeanor, his conservative style, his non-confrontational style, he's not confrontational, but Carr does have leadership ability at the quarterback position. He does point guys and tell guys and congratulate guys and tell guys when they're not supposed to do something. He does do that, and he's vocal, not to a point where he's arrogant. Based on some of the stuff I was saying, he's quite helpful, but he's also energetic. He's also a guy that throws passes. He jumps up, pumps his fingers and, you know, his fists, and run up and jump on linemen back and stuff like that. He does a lot of that energy, having that type of energy and having that mentality or that personality to go with Pete Carmichael. That, I think, that is a really good blend, because you got one guy that's kind of wild, and then you got another guy that's kind of conservative and shy, and then they're working together. And this is my quarterback. That could actually work, you know, work in harmony in tandem. That can actually work. So that'll be interesting to see how Pete Carmichael and Derek Carr's relationship is going forward, being that this is his quarterback. That'll be another thing to kind of look at, you know what I'm saying? Because if it's a play that's being called and Pete's calling the play and Derek Carr says, Pete, let's do something else, Pete Carmichael would relent. You know, he'd be like, Well, if you think that it'll work, you know what I'm saying? Pete Carmichael ain't gonna tell Derek Carr, no, just run my damn play. No, he's not. He's gonna relent. He's gonna say, okay, hold on. You think you can make it successful? Yeah. See that, and I'm saying that's that harmony going on as well. So we'll see how it all goes, man. But personalities mean a lot, man. Sean says we should easily be 30 to 35 points per game if we are healthy. Yeah, man, I'm thinking top 10, man, offensively, man, for real. Scout says, I hear you on AK, but I flip him for for Quentin Williams or a stud front seven start if I could. I just don't think they want to deal with his balloon payment after this only got 10 games left. You gonna flip him for Quentin Williams for real, bro? For real? Nah, bro. And we talk about balloon payments. How do the Saints deal with balloon payments? If that's the major factor, right? We can establish that Alvin Kamara doesn't have an extensive injury history. We can agree on that, right? We can agree on that. He doesn't have an extensive injury history. He takes phenomenal care of himself. He really does that. You always see him hopping on one leg or, doing the surfboard thing. You always see footage every summer of Alvin Kamara doing some magnificent thing where he got a rubber band around him and he dragging something or he pushing on a truck. It's always something that he's doing to let people know that he's in tip-top shape. So if we think about the balloon payment, how do the Saints usually deal with balloon payments? If the money is a thing. But the thing is, if Alvin Kamara can still produce, and I don't think they're going to beat him up over the next couple of years because the Saints have done a phenomenal job during his career of putting him in tandem with other running backs. There were a few years when he was featured, but the majority of the time, Alvin Kamara spent his time in tandem with somebody. Mark Ingram was the other guy. Now we're giving him Jamal Williams. And what that does is that actually extends his life even more because we don't have to have Alvin Kamara get beat to death. Now we can spread out the load on running backs that's more physical than him, that's designed for that sort of thing. You see? So they can deal with the balloon payment the way the Saints usually deal with the balloon payment. They just kick it into the future. You know how we do. That's just how I go, bro. But I hear you with the Quentin Williams, bro. I don't know. But Kamara means a lot, man. You can't easily replace Alvin Kamara like people leading it to believe in. There's not that many Alvin Kamaras out there. They got guys that got potential, they got a skill set, but yet realized there's always potential. Other guys can potentially do what he do, but we've yet to realize or see another guy that is an Alvin Kamara. They got other backs that are potential Alvin Kamara, but we've yet to see that realized to the point where we see Alvin, and he still get disrespected, on a national level because he does so many things. They don't even consider him a true running back. So they talk about the best running backs in the game. They leave out Alvin Kamara, even though Alvin Kamara is one of the better running backs in the game. They don't talk about him. They're not going to name Alvin Kamara the top 5 best running backs in the NFL. They won't name Alvin Kamara. They're going to put Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. They'll put Henry up there. They'll throw a few other guys in there, and they're deserving. But how we leaving Alvin Kamara out? He's still a top back in this game. They talk about Aaron Jones, and they got a lot of stellar running backs in the game. But Alvin Kamara is a special dude, man. You're a special cat. All right, Sean said Big Q Carr is going to tell Pete Carmichael what he wants him to do. Hey. Yeah, and I hear you. I see, that's why I was saying it's the personality dynamic between the offensive coordinator and his quarterback. That is a very popping relationship. Those guys got to be on the same page. And you don't have two guys that's going at each other from an alpha standpoint. One dude's a leader, the other dude is a guy that kind of will take, what you say and will roll with you. And me, I'm saying that's a good relationship because I'm not saying Carr is a jerk. He's far from that, but it has a good dynamic between Carmichael and Carr. It could be something, Carr and Carmichael. See, you see that? The cars, a little stretch, but you see where I'm going. It could be a good relationship between two professionals. You got Carr and Carmichael. So they should be all right, right? They got Carr in their damn name. They should be all yeah, Brandon says, I don't expect Carmichael Offense to reinvent the wheel. No, it ain't going to. No, what Carr will do is do what he's been doing, which is get the ball up the field, you know? And then I showed you all the statistics. Not one of them years showed more interceptions than touchdowns, even in his rookie year. Why can't he get credit for that? You know what I'm saying? I showed you his whole line since he's been in the league. Not one of those statistics show more interceptions than touchdowns. No, we don't talk about that. You don't talk about that. It's the fact that he goes to the Saints. They would be running up a bloody blue streak if Sean Payton was running it and Carr's here. The reason why they're not talking about it is because Peyton's in Denver and Dennis Allen's on top of the team. And that's why the team don't get the respect that they should be getting or should be talking about, because it was a solid signing, because he gives us all the things that we were lacking. We don't talk about the explosive plays. They just won't hit me with he's middle of the pack quarterback, Q. With numbers like that, name me 3 middle of the pack quarterbacks that had 4 and almost a 5,000-yard season. Look at the numbers. And I studied the film too, but you can't bypass the numbers. Name me 4 or 3. Give me 3 middle of the pack quarterbacks that had 4 seasons of 4,000 yards passing. Not one of his seasons he went more interceptions to touchdowns. The ratio was always different. And even the closest was 21-13, you know? So, I'm just telling the statistics, and I know 63-79 is what people point at, but that you can't totally put all of that on one dude, you know? And I'm just saying, once again, offense scheme means a lot when you bring a player in. And that's why the guy, what he does work well with the Saints. We just have to see how it all work on when things get to shaking and baking. So, yeah. All right, Brother James says, QIC 6 losses. The people that may get us Tennessee Panthers, we split. I was asking that earlier, Brother James. Thank you. Falcons, we split. So that's why I was asking the family members, do we split against Carolina and the Falcons? We swept the Falcons last year. Now, remember how the schedule, as you can see, sets up. We don't see the Falcons until after the bye week. We get them out of the bye week after we take care of business against the Vikings, the bye, and then the Falcons, right? 2 hated rivals, Vikings, Falcons, within a few weeks of each other. And then the Falcons on the back end of the schedule. So they setting it up like they're looking at it and say, man, the Saints and the Falcons is where it's going to be at. That's how the schedule makers looking at this thing. They really are looking at this thing, We got Carolina in week 2 and Atlanta after the bye week twice, out of the bye week and at the back end of the season. That's very interesting because usually they switched it up because it would be Carolina closing the season. So they want to add a little spice to the mixture going out on the season. And it does, because I would rather see the Falcons on the last game of the year than to see the Carolina Panthers. I'm bored with that. I'm bored with that. So yeah, anytime you can end the season with a bang against the Falcons, I'm cool with that. Thank you, bro. All right. So yeah. All right. So Scout says, I'm not sure he fit what DA want to do. Last year really didn't use AK great ways. So I'm open to options. Yeah, I got you, bro. But it's just like a lot of, when you dump $150 million in the offense, man, you got to look around and say, damn, man, good Lord. All the weapons they giving the kid, man, and the fact that, I'm gonna say it again, offense will be the leader of the team. Like last year was defense, it won't be that this year. It's gonna be the offense. You can't give a man $150 million and say, hey, defense, you still a man. Oh no. Yeah, Eric says restructure his contract. Yeah, that's what we do. That's just hard to believe. Like the Saints, like we know Kendre Miller is an insurance policy, like for Kamara with legal issues. Do the Saints really consider going away from that? The only way that happens is if Elvin Kamara wants to get out, or he has some more antics that the Saints get tired of, and they be like, man, I'm tired of this. Let's just see what we can get from him, But if all that other stuff out of the way, I still say the Saints would do themselves a service to kind of lock him in for life, and they'll just kick the can down the road and give him a tandem, because if you tandem him with the other guys and you bring Miller and these other guys, you tandem him, you extend out his career, and they can get a lot more out of Elvin Kamara. It's all in the imagination of the offensive staff of what they can do. Like I said, you can have Jamal Williams behind the, out there in the running back set behind, out there as a lone back behind the quarterback. You can have Kamara split out like a wide out, decoying him. So it's a lot of different things. Hell, you can send Kamara into motion across and then run Jamal Williams to the left on the snap. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do to kind of decoy and to pull the eyes of the defense, because you sending Elvin Kamara in a motion, everybody and his mom will go say, watch it, watch the motion, man. And then, but that's what I'm saying. Even when he's out there, right, he creates opportunities for other people. You just got to put him out there. You don't even have to throw to him. The mere fact that he's there forces the defenses to pay attention on, and we just didn't do that enough. We didn't decoy him enough, and that's the only thing is, are some of these plays available? Could we get some more of that, involved? I know the deep game is coming. I know we're going to have the combo running units. We're going to be strong with it. We'll get the ball up the field. But is that part of the matrix too? Like, we use the reverse plays, Rashid Shaheed and all this kind of stuff. But can we get some of the plays where we can kind of use Kamara as a decoy to kind of fool and trick some of our adversaries or our opponents? So, I mean, it's all up to the imagination. Fred says Saints will win the South with no problem. Thank you, Fred. Shout out to you. B Mills, shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you as well. All right, James said, you flip AK. Whole defenses keep tracking him. The whole line early moves. AK will open up the rest of it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has to be the fact that, and that's what I was saying, man. It's like we kind of, as the Who Dat Nation, we got used to Elvin Kamara being here. And even last year, they didn't use him to how they really was supposed to, which was, a detriment. But at the end of the day, all I could say is that I absolutely love the fact that the Saints gave Elvin Kamara Jamal Williams, because if he's suspended for 6 to 8 games, eventually he'll come back and he'll be hungrier than ever to get in there and play. But Jamal Williams there, and you just gave, have Kamara and Jamal Williams. My goodness. Those two guys together on the offense, man, that combination, and people not really talking about that right now because of what's looming over Elvin Kamara's head. But once all that clears up, you're talking about Kamara and Jamal Williams, bro. That has the potential to be bigger than the Ingram and Kamara setup. And that was damn good. That was historic. What we seen from Kamara and Mark Ingram. And then you add Jamal Williams with Elvin Kamara. Dude, I keep saying one of the biggest and best signings of the offseason for the Saints was Jamal Williams, 17 touchdowns. And that is when the last time you know to do that? And he was doing that for the Detroit Lions of all teams. 17 touchdowns. Absolutely crazy. But, you look at it, the Saints have a power running game. They got everything they need to succeed. We just need to see it. They need to put it together. We'll see. That's right. And don't forget about Taysom Hill. You sprinkle him in there. Man, none of them, you can't forget about none of them, bro. Really, truly, the Saints they look pretty phenomenal, bro. I'm gonna just keep it a buck 15. The team looks phenomenal, man. They just have to be able to live it out and get up off the paper and bring it to reality, and it'll be a beautiful thing. It's gonna be beautiful. They can do it. Sean said, "Big Q, you talking about AK and Jamal, but you don't even throw in." I'm saying, bro, I just mentioned Miller. But I know off top, once Elvin Kamara and he gets clear of his stuff, it's going to be those two first. And yeah, you can put the rookie Kendre Miller in there. But yeah, I can't talk about. I'm just really blown away by just those two dudes and what they bring to the table. And they're treating Jamal Williams like he's some type of regular running back. We talk about Bijan Robinson or Bijan or whatever his damn name is as a running back, the best in the NFC South. No. The Saints, this tandem right here could be one of the most dangerous running back tandems in the game. I'm just talking about those two, Kamara and Jamal Williams, because they did it and what they both bring and what they can both do for each other as well as the Saints offense. So I'm just saying it's something else. It really is. It's something else. This is probably, I can't tell you when it's been a while since I've seen three really good, like three stellar running backs the Saints have accumulated, which they intend on running the ball. So they kept the same offensive line together because they want that continuity. So I mean, it's gonna be cool. All right, yeah, you got you, bro. Zobeezy says 11-6 BQ. Hey, I'm with you on that, bro. I'm thinking the Saints should be able to do some stuff here, man. But like I said, I'm still on my Glenn Jones, bro. They got to show it, bro. They got to show it. They've assembled a wonderful squad. Let's see how it looks going forward. They got to bring it from the paper to the field, man. They got to translate it successfully. The schedule helps. This schedule is not a difficult schedule for the Saints to overcome. This is not a difficult schedule. You got several teams on this list that have rookie quarterbacks and several teams on here that are going to try to figure out how to win that are not playoff teams. The Houston Texans aren't no playoff team. They're on here. The Indianapolis Colts is not a playoff team. That's on here. You know, Green Bay Packers, in my opinion, they're not a playoff team. You know, the Rams are weaker than they've been in a long time. They are. So the Rams is not the force. Tampa Bay should be bringing up the rear in the NFC South. You know, so you have several teams on this list, and it is a favorable schedule. They just have to take care of business, bro. They got to do it. James says, what happened with AK last season when it was inconsistent, good QB play alongside with Pete stagnant offensive game plans with his first year in complete control, and DA not able to adjust. Yeah, DA didn't adjust. He didn't get on him. Everything was slow and behind, you know, and we don't need that this year. We need everybody to be on game, man. The man don't have to be perfect, but he got to be right. You know, it's a difference between being perfect and being right. It really is. You know, we rarely are perfect. You're gonna have some issues. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes. That's how we learn. So I'm not expecting perfection, but when you have an error, correct. You know, when you have an error, correct and move and adjust. And that's something that I'm just watching Dennis Allen as a head coach this year and what he did with Oakland. That's something that he's not good at, like making those adjustments when you see him. When you see it happening, make the adjustments. Just don't sit up there and just wait a quarter or the next game before you make an adjustment. Make the adjustment. Make the damn adjustment, you know. But I hope, like I said, they're just gonna have to show me, man. That's what I'm looking forward to. Reginald says, schedule not bad, 4-3 record playoffs for sure. All right, thank you, there, Reginald. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you. Brother Brandon says 11-6 or 12-5. We will win this division. Yeah, shout out to you, bro. Yeah, Elite, shout out to you. Says 11-6. There we go. All right. Sean said the Saints running backs plus Taysom. Taysom Hill. Yeah, Taysom Hill's in the mix, bro. He's in that mix, man. You can't, man. The Saints got it going on. We just got to get it going on. We got it going on paper. We just got to get it on the field, family. It's shaping up, bro. That schedule, look at the schedule, man. I'm trying, like, man, there's several 9 playoff teams on this list and other teams that are looking to try to steady themselves. Are the Giants real? They won last year. Can they win this year? You know, the Rams are significantly weaker than what they were in past years. You know, Minnesota, you know, they got Cousins there. I think he in the final year of his deal, I want to say, isn't he, family? Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is a I don't want to say the word, man. I don't want to jinx it, but man, they should get at least 11 wins with this schedule. At least 11 wins with this schedule. If we don't, what are we doing? What are we doing? Sandman says allowed 2020. Okay, 418 points in 2022. In 21, 439 points. In 2020, 478 points. In 2019, Sandman putting the defense in the sand, in the quicksand. You're right. They weren't. Yeah, bro. That's a part of dispelling the myth about the man being a middling quarterback. I'm looking at Carr and I'm like, is it the result of the team or is it Carr? You look at Carr's individual numbers, he never had one season where he had more touchdowns, more interceptions than touchdowns. Even in his rookie year and the second year, the sophomore year, when you usually see a slump, he did really well. The third year, he had a mass, amount of statistics. And then the following years, he had major success. And then he had 4 years of 4,000 plus passing yards. And then one final season, on the fourth of the 4,000 year was almost 5,000 yards. And they say, yeah, that's middle of the pack. Huh? I don't think so. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks playing the NFL, and you see a guy that does that, and it's like, okay, I know what it partially could be. You mixing him up with his garbage time brother, aren't you? You realize this is Derek Carr, not David Carr. All them Carrs are all the same. Derek Carr, David Carr, Pete Carr, Michael, they're all the same. No, they're not. That's what it is. They getting that man mixed up with David Carr. That's what they get in the mail. Like, hold on, man. No, hold on now. We got Derek, not David now. You do realize it's a different. No, they ain't. They the same guy. They the same damn guy, Q. No, sir. No, they're not. All right. Yeah. Brandon says the Raiders, okay, were bashing Carr when he joined the Saints, saying Jimmy G will be better. Man, listen, dude, I think they're disrespecting the major league. Because listen, no disrespect to Garoppolo, but you better have 5 all-pro offensive linemen to stand up there to protect Garoppolo. Because man, when they start getting on him and knocking him around, man, gonna be terrible. But Jimmy Garoppolo he's not a guy that's known for his durability, and they just trying to sell. I can't. How would I'm not a Raider guy, but I couldn't get excited about having Jimmy Garoppolo after Carr left. And then they blaming it on Carr for the reason why the team didn't succeed. Oh, it was the quarterback. It was the quarterback. It was definitely the quarterback. And that's what I could see them doing that, because they got to figure out a way to kind of trick the Raider people into buying more tickets. Well, it was Carr was the problem. As you can see, we got him out of here. He was being mentored by his brother. That was the problem, you see, and we had to make sure we get him out of here. He was being mentored by his brother. And no. Y'all lost as a team because y'all were collectively bad as a unit. Y'all didn't handle the business. It's bottom line. But they do that. They got to demonize somebody. That's how they keep their damn job, But at the end of the day, the numbers just don't equate in terms of the production, man. It's crazy. They're looking at him. Y'all do realize we got Derek and not David, right? Yeah, but listen, are the Raiders, and we got a lot of Raider people that subscribe to the show, but are the Raiders going to win this year? Seriously. Are the Raiders going to win this year with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm? What are they going to say when Jimmy Garoppolo fails, if he fails? I'm not wishing nothing on the Raiders because I actually respect the Raider organization. I just think that, with Carr is you're going to see. Well, let me just put it to you like this. How many passing yards do you think Carr has for the Saints this upcoming year? If healthy, what do you guys think? Could he get 4,000 in his first year with the Saints? With the weapons we have, do you guys think Carr could get 4,000 passing yards in his first year? Answer that for me. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Put that in the chat. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Do you think Carr gets 4,000 yards in his first year as a Saints quarterback? In order for you to get that, you got to be attacking the field, attacking downfield, throwing the ball, doing stuff like that. Is that possible? Is that something that we looking at that he could do? He's just definitely capable of it. If you got Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave and the big speedsters, and we keep a wide open attack, which is what I'm seeing what they're going to try to do. That's why they're so excited from an offensive standpoint, because they're looking at Carr operating the Saints as a wide open passing the game, not the dinky donkey do crap we seen last year with Andy Dalton sitting on top of the team. No, we're talking about the wide open attack, and that's his skill set. It lends itself to that skill set. So I don't know. Yo, Beasley says about almost 3,200. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you on that. Brandon says, I think Carr can throw for 4,000. and about 30 touchdowns, man. If he's doing that, you go into the playoffs, bro. If he's doing that and the Saints defense, okay, Elite got a real number, 3,600 and 90. Okay, all right, 369. All right. You ain't fooling nobody. I seen that. All right. Okay, there you go. The Sandman got the defensive stats for the 49ers. Okay, there you go. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's big difference there. Reginald says, yes, he can. Saints got to open up the offense. Yes, he can watch family. Okay, thank you, Reginald. Shout out to you. Brother Sean said, I think you can't play up the Saints or you get burned over the top. Right. But if you play close up with Breeze, then you cook later. Yeah, Breeze will make you play with he'll make you pay. Sandman said Jimmy G had a lot of help with the 49ers defense was big, and they had a pretty decent running attack too, and they had some people there that helped out. So it's a reason why the 49ers look like, from a success standpoint, look a lot better than what the Raiders have. The Raiders, if you look at their offense, man, and I guess I could pull it up. I could actually look at their offense right now and just kind of look at it and say, I don't see how, if you're the Las Vegas Raiders, that you look at this and you're like really excited about what they putting out on the field. You got Jimmy Garoppolo, who's currently showing is questionable. He hurt right now. And then, of course, Josh Jacobs. I love Josh Jacobs, man. I love how he run the ball. Devontae Adams is still there. And then, Hunter Renfrow, despite all of the trade rumors, he's still there with Jacoby Myers. So they do have some interesting weapons. Austin Hooper, the former Falcon, there. They bring in O.J. Howard, the former Buccaneers, and then they got Michael Mayer. They picked that guy up, traded up to get him. What was it, in the 4th round, I think it was? And Mayer was supposed to be like the best tight end in the draft. And he fell there, and the Raiders went and scooped him up. So they're looking at him as a potential starter at the tight end position. They still need help on that offensive line. That offensive line still needs some help there. And I was pushing for him to go get some help from Max Crosby. Chandler Jones didn't look the same, but they got some good players, man. On the defensive line, they still need help at the linebacker level. So is the Raiders a playoff team? Is the Raiders a playoff team? Is this rendition of the Raiders? The biggest part is, can the offensive line keep Jimmy Garoppolo clean? Because if you look at the backups, them people, Brian Hoyer is your top backup. If you the Raiders, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? You got Jimmy Garoppolo, who's currently questionable, and Brian Hoyer as your backup. Dude, you better go and make a trade. You better go get somebody a lot better than Brian Hoyer as your backup quarterback. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. You better find somebody else. You better reinforce that offensive line, Raider family. Jimmy Garoppolo needs your help. All right, Brother James says, I think he'll push for 4,000 Q between the weapons we have as well as Carr trying to prove something. He will do 4,000. The question is, will he be winning while he's doing this? We have been here before. We have, bro. But the thing is, for that to kind of repeat itself, like for the Saints offense to be taken off, the defense has to have taken a step back. We basically would have to be the Raiders defense, under Carr those years. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see the Saints defense as that bad, even though I don't know what Saunders or Shepard looks like on the interior, right? I just know when I watch the film on Sanders and Shepard, what I see from those guys. Like, they get consistent push inside the interior of the pocket, not just guys that just hold up and stuff the run. But you can see there is something the Saints, Dennis Allen, is doing on his defensive line that he witnessed and seen that the Saints simply wasn't getting last year. And that was a push up the interior. And that's a major way to cause some severe disruption, because we didn't have that last year. The Saints didn't have that. We were getting, the defensive line was getting imploded. They were getting dominated by backup offensive linemen, guys we didn't even know their names. They had guys that were backups because the starters were hurt, and the backups would dominate the Saints defensive line week after week after week. Guys we didn't know. Davenport couldn't beat second string offensive linemen. Week after week after week after week. Couldn't do it. Saints were getting ran on, pushed through. So I don't know what they look like, but I just know for a fact that you can't get any worse than what they were from a from a rush perspective, a defensive stop the rush perspective last year. You can't get no worse than what they were last year. You would hope they wouldn't, because that's trash can what we did last year. And the secondary was what, top 3, top 5, last year. But the rush defense was hella stink. So you watch the film on Saunders and Nate Shepard, and you say to yourself, they get consistent push. And when they're not pushing, they wall up everything. And then the thing I like about Saunders is he's violent. He fights, and it's not like you get in there and you start pushing the guy and all this stuff. Nah, it's difficult when you just blocking a guy that's fighting you. Like his hands is flailing away and he's turning and pushing and and this type of stuff. And that's what Saunders does. Saunders does it a lot more. He's undersized, but he's a force. And then you take him out, and what's a big part of the rotation is you got to keep Saunders and Shepard fresh, and then you slide Breesy in there, and then you have you need another guy too. Malcolm Roach is good, but the Saints need another defensive tackle. Now I don't know if that'll be Passanio, who they'll put there, but they need another guy, and they do get the guy. They got the big brother out of Ohio State. I'm looking at the Saints adding a veteran somewhere up in there. It would be cool to have a defensive tackle veteran, a 300-pound guy that can also steady, the depth behind that. Because I still think we need another interior defense plan, unless Passanio is that guy. See, that's the caveat there. But yeah, I don't see them getting any worse than that. The defense would have to implode upon itself, and the offense taking off, and the defense not, the offense scoring 27, 28 points a game, and the defense giving up 26, 27, 28 points a game. I don't see that. I can see some games they might give up more than others, but our secondary still there, but you got new coaches there. How would that change the dynamic of our secondary? You know what I'm saying? We got other coaches coming in there. They got to teach their method, guys, to get familiar. Is the verbiage the same, or do they have to learn something different? Usually when new personnel comes in there, the type of turnover we had on the defense that, with new players or new people, the communication has to be established. So that takes some time. So I'm looking at the Saints defense, and I'm saying to myself, whatever happens with the Saints during the season, it has to start with the offense. The offense has to take control of the team and guide the team, and the defense becomes the secondary unit once again. You see, that has to be the case, or the Carr experiment in the first year will fail, because you don't pay a man $150 million and then still say, hey, defense, you're the strength of the team. Go give me some, go handle this business. No, that's just not how it looks. All right. Yeah, Reginald says Saints can win. He says Saints can win, get back to running the ball, more play action, passing, set the team. Yeah, setting up the play action. For big plays, no penalty, and defense take care of business. We'll be fine and stay healthy. Who that? Yes, indeed, bro. Yes, indeed. All right, Sky Life, shout out, fam. Says, what's up, Saints? He says, what are all the Saints players' jersey? Q, there was something we did, bro, on a previous show when we ran it down. We talked about their jersey numbers and all that, bro. It was a previous show. I don't know if I can find with their numbers. So perhaps let me see if I can go on their website. I know they've been trying to add some people, but I don't think they have an official depth chart just yet with all of the numbers on it. I think the old one they still have from last year. Now, hold on. They should have, they got a few people. Here it is. Hold on. Let me show it to you here. Give me a second. Let me put it on the big screen here. Simply because you asked. Here we go. All right. So let me kind of see if I can kind of get this thing a little closer and get it up here. And then I'm going to get ready to dirk out on it. All right. So there you go. Jonathan Abrams, 24. This straight from the Saints, the sources, NewOrleansSaints.com, fam, for their jersey numbers. Abram, 24. You see Paulson, the Debo. Hugo Amadi, who was brought in as a special teams guy, wearing 0. So he's the first guy for the Saints to do that. Nick Anderson's number 40. You see Cy Barnett is another guy, interesting wide receiver they brought in here from Davenport. Very quick guy. The guy wide receiver / punter. So the Saints always seem to find these strange, unique players. Number 81, Zach Barnes, 53, as you know. Enu Benjamin's there. Jaron Cage, the defensive tackle from Ohio State, 77. Carr's 4, of course. You got Ryan Connolly, the linebacker, special teams linebacker. Saints picked up wearing number 43. Shaq Davis is number 80. How about that? 6'5", 180. Shaq Davis is number 80. All right, I like that for the Saints, man. Number 80, man. Let's see who else we got. Brian Edwards is wearing number 11, 6'3", 215. He's wide receiver, former Raider. Mark Evans, the offensive lineman, is wearing number 73. I like that kid a lot out of the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Like him a lot. Malik Flowers is number 88. The last 88 was Ty Montgomery. How about that, fam? Ty Montgomery. All right, let's see who else we got here that you might want to know about. Let's see. Everybody the same. DeMarco Jackson, number 52. Anthony Johnson, the cornerback, 36. Lonnie Johnson Jr. is number 28. Lewis Kidd. Well, you know about Lewis. Let me see what else we got here. Other people that you might not realize. Let me see. Oh, it jumped on me. Hold on, fam. All right. So anyway, let's see what else we got here that you might not be familiar with. So when you see them moving around, you'll be familiar with them. Smoke Monday with number 38. Kirk Merritt's 33. Storm Norton, the big offensive tackle, is 72. Foster Monroe has not been given a number yet. That'll be coming up soon. Anthony Orji, the linebacker from Vanderbilt, is number 58. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Everybody pretty much the same. Colin Sanders is number 99. Who else we got? Who else we got that we might not be familiar with? I think that's pretty much everybody that you. Hold on, Mr. Rashid Shaheed. Yeah, Rashid Shaheed changed his number. He's number 22 now. So there you go with him. He's number 22. Nate Shepard's number 93. Let's see. They need to give Traquan Smith -0. You know. All right. Let's see. I'm thinking. And another guy to pay attention to, I've been talking about this brother, Shadarick Thompson. Let me say Sharadrick. Thinking how you pronounce the man's name. Sharadrick Thompson. 6 feet, 220 pounds. If you watch the footage of this guy, and I'm gonna be doing a film study on him on Patreon, you're gonna love this guy. The Saints always bring these undrafted guys in here, and he's another one of these talented players that we talk about. But Sharadrick Thompson Jr., man, if you never seen him run the ball, watch out. Watch out for this brother, man. So if injuries hit our running back room, we slide Thompson Jr. in there, man. This brother here is a angry runner, tough to bring down. Dude, I love that style. I love his style of running. Jamal Williams is number 30 for the Saints. Here, let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Anybody else you want to know about? Let's see. I think that's everybody. And of course, the Saints unrestricted free agent list is there. This is the draft picks. Brian Breese's number 90. Foskey wearing number 55. Jake Haener, the quarterback's number 14. Mr. Jordan Howden's 31. Kendre Miller's number 25. A.T. Perry, 17. And Nick Saldiveri, the offensive tackle / guard, is number 64. That's old Zach. Isn't that old Zach Streif number? But anyway, that's all the numbers right there, fam. I hope that helped you out, man, to remember some of these numbers. We're going to flash back to this at some point down the season. All right. Yeah, indeed. Jason says Willie Jackson. Yeah, that's right. Willie Jackson, too. Yeah. 3 touchdowns against the Rams. Yeah, first playoff victory. Number 88 is a good number, man. Yeah, Traquan Smith should be -0. Off the damn team. All right, 504 says Q, I own 3 used cars and they work just fine. That's right. You get a good value on a used car, man. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you. I own a used car. Let me tell you. All right, Reginald says, okay, yeah, shout out to Reggie on that. Yeah, Sean said, yeah, I was telling you, the Saints have, that's the great thing about some of the Saints, a lot of the Saints wide receivers, like the guys that they picked up, I was focused. I was like, man, the Saints they have bigger wide receivers. Like these guys are 6'3", 6'4", big wide receivers that have speed and a huge catch radius. So you got to look at that and you got to say to yourself, wow, man, you know, I see what the Saints are going, where they go. Because Coach Payton was trying to do this for years. He was always trying to get big wide receivers. He tried to do it with Brandon Coleman. He tried to do it with Cam Meredith. He tried to do it, he tried to do it several times before and it just didn't work. You know, he would try to get these big wide receivers to play, and the Saints find some really good, wide receiver, to come in and help out. Because Mike, prior to that, Mike was the biggest guy. He was 6'3", and the Saints said, "No, we need some more height and speed," and they did that. So I mean, I got to give him that credit. He gets 4,000 easy 504 code. With wide receivers like that and all of the weapons they have, I can see the Saints operating a wide open offense again because they got guys that can go down the field and get the deep ball. They got guys that play well in space. So just understanding how concepts work, getting the ball down the field and getting defenses to back up off you, creating space, that helps out our space guys like an Elvin Kamara, Jamal Williams, Kendre Miller. All these guys operate very well in space. So if that is the game plan, and getting explosive plays back on the offense, you're going to see something. The only thing is, how long do the Saints defense take to get up to speed? You got 3 new starters on the defensive line. We can't overlook that. How does the defensive personnel acclimate itself to the new personnel? And that's something that we got to look at. Yeah. Jason said cars over under is 4,500 this year. Okay. Thank you, fam. Appreciate you. All right. So it'll be cool seeing how it all play out, man. But they're saying highest NFC team win totals 9.5. So they're giving the 49ers 11.5, 10.5 for the Eagles, 9.5 for the Cowboys, Saints, and Lions at 9.5. That's what they call it. And that's what they're saying about the black and gold team. So in a minute, they're going to be talking about the Caesar Sportsbook on win total. I'm going to kick that sound in a second. But it's all intriguing. So anyway, we're doing pretty good, man. We just got to keep the power, keep it up going, take what we have from the off season and kind of slide it into the in season, man, and go from there. So we're going to see what it all looks like. But here's a lumber pipe and a little sound on them talking about these win totals from Caesar Sportsbook.
To 16, but the Cowboys, despite having that decently hard schedule, they do have some nice breakups, having like the Thursday and then TNF, so they don't have necessarily as short of a week as often.
So 9.5 is the win total for the Saints as well, same as the Cowboys. What do you think?
Well, that one looks a little bit too high for me as well. I actually think that the NFC South has the one that's most poised to have that go from worst to first situation with the Atlanta Falcons here, because I do think that some early games against the Panthers do actually help the Saints and also helps the Falcons, but that last game against Falcons Saints could actually determine all of it. A little too high.
Derek Carr now in the Bayou, the Giants.
All right, so that's a little information right there from them talking about 9.5 for the Saints. 9.5 games in the NFC South with this schedule. So, there's always some weirdness that goes on, man. And some of this stuff, and you look at it, says, how could they see 9.5? But that's what the Caesar Sportsbook is putting at the Saints at 9.5. So the Cowboys and Detroit Lions is 9.5. I don't see that with this schedule. I see the Saints, at the very least, if you really want to be critical, 10 wins for the Saints, because the schedule is very doable schedule. So many teams on this schedule that are not ready to win yet, that have rookie quarterbacks or a lot of young people in place that haven't won. You talk about the Houston Texans, you talk about the Colts, you talk about the Green Bay Packers. Now, even though Jordan Love's been there for a couple of years, he hadn't consistently occupied that quarterback position. He's coming out the shadow of Aaron Rodgers, and we have to handle the business with him. So it's not exactly the most talented team that we've seen Green Bay put on the field. The Texans are young and exciting as well, but they're still young. So are the Colts. But the sticking point to all 3 of those games is that every last one of those teams have young athletic quarterbacks that can move around, and that could be problematic for the Saints defense. They have to figure out if they solve that problem. So we'll see. Get your popcorn ready. That's right, Ramsey. Shout out to you, fam, and blessings to you and your fam, bro. All right, so with that being said, fam, I'm going to get ready to get out on that. Listen, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. 2.5 hours of the coma. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the share button, and share it on your social media feed, covering the Saints schedules you can see before you and reacting to it, fam. It's really interesting, man, to be honest with you. Tomorrow we'll come back with part 2 of the reaction show. We'll open up the phone lines, let the family members chime in with their thoughts on what they think the season and the records and everything. We'll open up the lines of communication. You guys chime in, and we'll hear from you live tomorrow on our Friday stream. So be looking out for that. So with that being said, the Saints had a fantastic offseason so far. They still got a lot to add to it. The team still has a ways to go, but they're doing some great movements here. And at the end of the day, all that stands in between the winning is the coaches getting on code and making it work. So schedule looking very favorable, very favorable. So we'll see how it all shakes. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all. And we're going to holler at y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
This video is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Sending data over an encrypted internet connection is like sending a postcard that everybody can see. When you're connected to an unencrypted network, whether that's your phone, your computer, your tablet, your TV, etc., you're sending countless of pieces of really precious data that can be seen or intercepted by all sort of parties before it reaches its intended destination. But a VPN or a virtual private network creates a secure tunnel between your device and the internet. In other words, it puts an envelope around your postcard so they can't sneak a peek at your private correspondence. The ExpressVPN protects you from spies who use your data for their own nefarious purposes. ExpressVPN prevents your ISP from seeing your private browsing activity. It also stops governments and large corporations and websites that constantly surveil you and harvest your data for their own agendas. ExpressVPN gives you unrestricted access to all parts of the internet, so you can watch shows in other countries and even get certain discounts. So to get ExpressVPN, just click the link below. When you use the Pelican Postscan Report, you get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. Hit the link now and get connected.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below.